They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey mega fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still. Just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just state-owned pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey mega fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Oh, yeah. He said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Years of med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages already reviewed. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. Oh, yeah. He said people don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons. Trump nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But that was argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, two wrongs don't make a right. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. Univision, AP, the fact check crew. Oh, acting all surprised that the sky is blue. It wasn't no secret, we knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologists blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew, oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret, we knew. You unveil oxygen oxygen like contraband air. Like 60. You sat down, claiming to discover chairs. War called money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil, can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided, a surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Gather round, everyone, and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
they call treason if chosen name. Is patriotism when Donald's to blame? Had Biden done it, I don't flip. Had Biden done it, more numbers than slip. Had Biden done it, then shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
A self-proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, the animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. 'Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
And welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Welcome everybody who's here so far. We are going to try and wait a little bit for the sparkler raid that should be incoming. So as of right now, we'll just be, chit-chatting away. Don't want to have to start anything new. Just for those who may have been coming over from Hal earlier, it doesn't... not necessarily going to be covering exactly the same thing that Hal covered. I don't know how much came into Hal's light. I don't know how much of his of the Trump Correspondents dinner he went over, but we are not going to do the whole thing. We are absolutely not going to do the whole thing. I'm not going to put y'all through all of it, and I'll remind everybody of that as well once I start going over it. But we do have a couple of highlights or lowlights from the low life president that we do have that we will be doing some responding to not put you through a whole other hour of Trump and the commentary. And then afterwards, we'll probably be doing a response video to a response video of my response video. So it's like responseception going on because Nick Driver, guy who's been on the show before, I've been on his show before. We did a couple of episodes of the Political Tower of Power, and so we will be going after. Apparently, he thinks I'm condescending. I'm gonna let y'all chime in on that, because at some point during the video when he says that, I haven't actually watched the whole thing, but I kind of skimmed over it. But yeah, I'm kind of condescending. So I do want to kind of get y'all's view on it as well, to see if you think he's spot on, or maybe, because look, if maybe I can improve, maybe there is room for myself to improve myself. So we will see about that. And one thing he does pick on, though, that I didn't catch, is that he's like mocks me for the ums, and yeah, I could probably do a better job of the ums, but still, we'll see how that goes. So let's see. It was good to see you, Bob. Good to see you, Steve, from across the pond. We got Yakov. We got Jolie, one half of the mod squad. Let's see, Yakov, Petrazi, JB Nation, Bob LeBlanc. Good to see each and every one of you on the show. Sean, good to see you as well. I mean, you think so, but I mean, perhaps, maybe I just don't speak down to y'all because y'all are smarter. Or maybe it's just the fact that I come across as intelligent, or maybe, I don't know, that's up to you to decide, but maybe the people who are on the right can't handle the level, and maybe a smart argument sounds condescending to somebody who isn't. Yeah, and we'll probably make that point again later. Aaron, good to see you as well, the other half of the mod squad, and Dean, it's also very good to see you too. Thank you for joining. It does look like Hal is wrapping up, so we'll be able to start talking about what we're going to be talking about. We got our Villaby over in the Twitch chat as well. CSL says we'll bring the fam soon. Thank you so much, CSL. Thank you to all of Hal's mods for doing, doing the Lord's work, or doing Hal's work at least, doing what you to do to help all the mods that help all the shows, which there's some overlap. All the mods that help all the shows that are on the left are doing a great job helping with what needs to get done. Good to see you, Chad. Chad says, you only sound condescending because you fully view the liberal ideology as being the best and have good reasoning behind most of it. Well, see, there you go. Have good reasoning behind most of it. Appreciate it. And I'm sure we agree on some things or whatever, because you're a little more libertarian-y than some of the other conservative folks are, in which we can have a whole bunch of discussions. And hey, the sparklers are coming in now over on Twitch. They are the first to come in. Good to see you, Dragon, CSL, DB Golding, and all 98 other folks that are, all of the 98 folks that are coming over from HAL. So thanks everybody for joining. 250 kilo good to see you. Jen, good to see you as well. Corrine 68. One number between 67 and 69. Nice. Or I should say otherwise.
Oh my.
Anyway, Shadow Elf, good to see you. Trina, I probably won't be able to say hello to everybody, but we will be waiting a little bit more. What's up, JB Nation? And we will, let's spark it up. And as you're coming in, if you're on YouTube at least, make sure to smash that like button and then the patriarchy. Good to see each and every one of the sparklers coming on over. And I'm very happy that all of y'all are joining in on the fun. So, let's see. Catherine Doobie Doo. Good to see you. And again, please make sure to subscribe if you've not already done so. We are trying to get those numbers up. For some reason, I feel like the YouTube gods or whatever are not liking whatever content I'm putting out there to attract in people who will subscribe at least. I'm getting a lot of conservative people who will come and do a one-shot, hit, which is good for the algorithm. And as we all know, Al Gore needs more rhythm. Oh, another person from across the pond over in Twitch, Redneck Jay. Good to see you. Thank you so much. But yeah, the YouTube gods don't seem to really want to push the show too much. I don't know. I'm not getting the subscribers that other channels are getting, and I'm trying very hard to figure that out. What's up, Big Hook? Good to see you as well. Friend of the show, Big Hook. Again, just as a reminder, Wednesdays, after the Wednesday show, we make the Wednesday show shorter, and we're still kind of working out the whole thing as to what Liberal Dan After Dark is going to ultimately look like. I was going to have a whole kind of discussion, like a group discussion on things like consent or whatever, that never that never actually happened. So maybe we could do it again this show. I don't know. But again, Wednesdays, and if you're in the Discord for Liberal Dan Radio, up until the end of the month, aka till Wednesday, or I guess maybe Thursday, I don't know. If you're in the Discord before the end of the month, you will you get to join in that for free. Otherwise, once we get to August and the first and beyond in August, only paid members on top of those people who are already in the room will be able to join. So if you're in there, you're there. If you're not in there, by the time August 1st hits, you'll have to be a paid member somewhere, be it a Patreon member, be it a Twitch subscriber, YouTube subscriber, etc., etc., etc. Catherine Doobie-Doo says, oh, there's the sparklers coming in on the YouTube side. Catherine says, abuse is the epidemic of our time and has been ignored, sanitized, condoned for decades at minimum. Should be one of the measure of conduct for all politicians and religious figures. That's a very good point. We absolutely do need to do that. 07. Yeah, the weird, whatchamacallit, that the AI wanted to do for me. When I did the video for Everybody Knew. It's not the best AI created video in the world that there is, but as old Trumpy boy says,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. So we will be doing a couple of things. Let me just move around some of my screens a bit so I can see the chats. Hey Susie, good to see you. Hey Molly. Phil, James. Again, we are going to not be doing specifically what Hal Sparks did over on his show. I don't know how much of the video of Trump at the Correspondents' dinner he did. I'm just going to hit a few of the points. Like, I'm going to hit a few. I have some timestamps marked down. Like, I have, probably until the minute 3:44, and then I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Then I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I don't want to watch all of Donald Trump. I am not in the headspace to watch all of Donald Trump's speech right now because it's an hour and we're not doing that. I'm not going to put y'all through that, but there are some points I have to make about it, and we'll start that in a second. Hello, Damon Dog, Nick Rich, Vasantha, Gina Maynard, good to see you, Jan, and a bunch of the other J squads, Christina. Everybody who is here right now, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by and spending some time with me. Means a lot that you do want to spend time with me and the other sparklers and Danimals, etc. So, hey Joy, good to see you as well. Thank you. All right, so Hal went over the whole disaster. Yeah, no, Penny to create. That's another reason why I'm just going to go over some of the highlights before we go over the other disaster, which is the starting kind of back and forth between me and Nick Driver, another YouTube creator on here, where, again, we've collaborated on a couple of things, and now we're just kind of going at each other a little bit, and we'll see if this escalates or not. I don't know. Anyway, so we do want to go ahead and record this because I don't want it to just be little clips that I have. Because again, on liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, and on all of my other social media channels, or many of them on my TikTok channel, on Instagram, on Facebook, which is all Liberal Dan Radio, whatever.com/Liberal Dan Radio, but I'm also Facebook.com/Liberal Dan, so it uploads to all 5 of those all the time. Hey Treva, thank you for being a 10-month member. Thank you very much for that. So again, we will be going over some highlights or lowlights of the low life, and we will go from there. So let's just hit the record button. Make sure we hit the correct button this time, because last time I actually stopped the show for a brief second. So Big Hook says, have you figured out the new computer? Mostly. I mean, I'm a tech guy. I should have no problem with the computer. The only issue I have with this laptop, honestly, the only issue I have with the new laptop is that it's a very large mouse pad, and as I'm typing, sometimes my fingers will kind of swipe over the number or the mouse pad, which can also work as a number pad, and it causes it to move my cursor around, which is crazy. Oh, Susie is a member for 12 months. Thank you for that as well, Susie. And of course, coming around the first of the month, I'll have new gift memberships to give out, so we'll be handling that. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Jeez. It may very well be a good idea to do the YouTube, to do a whatchamacallit keyboard as well. Good to see you, Surrender Monkey. Yeah, but I just don't know where I would put the laptop after I put the keyboard somewhere. So there's that. So anyway, let's go ahead and actually start recording it this time, because we are going to be doing a response to some, not all, but some of the Donald Trump speech at the Correspondents' Dinner. But before we get to that, just how much Donald Trump is a coward. I don't think we've had a more cowardly president than we do in Donald John Trump, because he absolutely would not let anybody, get on that stage to mock him, to roast him, as, usually happens at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, at least in the past. Now, apparently somebody was trying to do worse than that the first time around, and at least that added some excitement to the whole damn thing. But now Correspondents' Dinner 2, Electric Boogaloo comes around, and, Trump just cannot handle anybody making fun. He can absolutely insult all the other people all he wants, because he feels entitled to be able to do so, and is also a child, but he won't let anybody else come back because he's fragile and weak and cowardly. And I think they also wasted some money, because they had was it Oz Perlman or something, the kind of mentalist guy who predicts things. He'll make you think, all right, well, look at this page and look at this and look at that, and you were thinking of the number 74, and they'll be like, oh my God, I was thinking of 74. So however he does that, and look, some of the things he's done, it's like, I don't understand how he does it either. But you don't need somebody of that high caliber of an entertainer to fool Donald Trump. You could probably just play Got Your Nose with Donald Trump, like, whoop, got your nose, be like, oh my God, I can't believe he has my nose. Somebody tell him to give me my nose back, because I need my nose to smell. I like smelling my hamburgers and my cheeseburgers. I need to be able to smell that and my Diet Coke, so don't give me back my nose, please. And then, he'd give him back his nose, and it'd be like, thank you so much for giving me back my nose. So, yeah, that was absolutely unnecessary to get somebody of that talent level to entertain Donald Trump. He's just absolute dullard. Anyway, so let's go ahead and bring open the laptop screen here. So Steve goes, I think all the answers were either 45 or 47 for the evening. Yeah, he smells without a nose. Well, what he smells like and versus how he can smell are two different things, right? Anyway, so this is the very, very beginning, and we'll watch a couple of minutes of this, and then we'll fast forward to some of the other timestamps I have written down to be able to react to, because, again, I don't want to put you through all of this. I don't want to put myself through all of this. An hour of Donald Trump is just way too fucking long. Now, of course, not to his cult. His cult members would sit there and watch him for 3 days, and they wouldn't eat. While he would sit there and eat everything, all the hamburgers and cheeseburgers or whatever, and they would just sit there and watch like, yes, master, we love you, Trump. Anyway, let's go ahead and respond to some of this shite.
Do I have a say in those awards, all those awards? But it's great to be back at a place that I know very well because I built it. And I'm very proud of it because I built it for $2.9 billion less than the Federal Reserve building.
2.9 billion less? So, what? Are you kidding me? Did he mean to say million?
Which is a lot smaller, by the way.
That's not the first time that Donald Trump heard anything as a lot smaller, or that he's a lot smaller than somebody else, I guess. Anyway.
Figure that one out. But I am delighted to be here at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Amazing.
Sure you are.
People. a lot of people that I like.
A lot of people, so many people, some I like, some I don't like, most I don't like because they're all the lying media, the Lügen press, as my idol Adolf Hitler used to say, Lügen press.
Some I don't like at all, but I respect most of them. I must say that you do a great
No, you don't. Shut up.
job, amazing job, and it's an honor. As I said 3 months ago,
It's an honor for all of you to sit in front of me and listen to me talk smack to all of you, and you can't say anything back or else I'll revoke your credentials and lock you up in Gitmo.
show must go on. We were backstage, and we both wanted to just have it
Look at all those people who just look absolutely uncomfortable there.
go on, whether it was 2 o'clock, 3
I can't believe I have to do this. At least I maybe get paid.
o'clock in the morning. It didn't matter. But in the end, it made more sense to do it the way we're
Can we just caption his pause faces instead of listening to him?
doing it. And we had a great news conference at the White House, in a very important room. And you did very well. I think we all did very well. It was a hell of an evening, I can tell you that.
It was the hottest evening. Nobody's had a hotter evening. It's a great evening like nobody's ever seen before. Anyway.
Won't soon be forgotten. And I think a lot was learned from that evening. A tremendous amount was learned about security and about other things, the dangers of what we all do. But just like my presidency, the second time is always better. It's always better. And the third time will be better yet.
Boo.
I'm only kidding.
Now, Donald Trump once said he never kids. So him saying that he's only kidding is a lie. Because he previously says that he never kids.
From the earliest moments after the attack on our dinner last April, I knew we had to reschedule
I'm surprised he's calling it our, not my.
this event as soon as possible. We had to do it very quickly, and we met very quickly. And we figured
Damon Dog says sequels always suck. Not necessarily. Evil Dead 2 was better than Evil Dead 1. And Scream 2 was really good. I really like most of Back to the Future 2. So...
figure something out, but the attempted mass murder at the Washington Hilton, that's what it could have
Yeah. As we get the attempted mass murder, a kid in the chat goes, fake attack, which, you know, it was very suspicious at least.
been, was an assault on our democracy itself. Very serious situation. Many of you were
Exactly, Thunder Monkey Terminator 2 as well. That's also a very good sequel.
there with me, and some showed extreme bravery, like Pete
I'm not sure if Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo was better or worse than Breakin' 1.
Hegseth, Steve Miller, Tom Holman. Really? They were standing
Oh, the Nazis, the people that I love. I love the poorly educated and the Nazis.
on tables.
Yeah, Ali Osher, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Yes, we're gonna have to stop talking about Trump and talking about all the good sequels that exist in the planet.
And most
Lazy Dog at the same time also says Empire Strikes Back.
of you were under the tables, okay?
Damon Dog, I stand corrected. Most sequels sucked. Fair enough.
But they did. They showed. I saw every one of them that was standing up in those tables. I didn't know if they were brave, if they were smart, if they were stupid as hell.
What was in it for them? I don't understand what was in it for them. Just like the troops that I asked, what was in it for them? I don't know why they would stand on a table. They would typically run away. Just like me, I ran away from combat with my bone spurs.
But they were on those tables in some cases, and there were a lot of different feelings going on in the room at that moment. But after hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, "Get down, get down," which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it?
Ha ha ha.
Get down.
You know he didn't write that one.
She's the only one that really understood what that meant.
Again, horrible. You never explain the joke.
It's quite an evening. But tonight we come back together to answer that heinous attack with unwavering resolve. And every one of us here this evening to show that in America we do not yield to political violence. We don't.
No, he just yields to, you know, people who give him money.
We can't do that. Can't do it.
Josh says, show us, Donald. I do not want to see Donald Trump twerking, although, unless it causes him to, like, break a hip or something.
So in this country, we believe in freedom of speech. We settle our differences not with bullets, but with open and vigorous debate.
Explain January 6th then, motherfucker.
And no deranged loser with a gun will ever change that. We can't let that ever happen. A lot of very dangerous people out there. We can't let it happen.
So many losers. I know losers. I look in the mirror and see one every day.
To the incredible men and women who put their lives on the line every day to protect my family and myself, all presidents and lots of others. That's the United States Secret Service, so I appreciate it very much. And Sean and the whole group, amazing job. Amazing job.
All right, I thought he pulled out the hat early. Maybe he pulled the hat later. I don't know. But yeah, can you imagine what might have happened if President Biden had gotten up there and joked about running for a term illegally?
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, the screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
All right, let's jump ahead a little bit here. This is what I look like when I'm with, you know, people on the down low.
Well, oh, that was going to be a doozy. I was so psyched. I was going to rip people. And I don't know, just something changed. It's really for the better, but...
And my heart grew 3 sizes like the Grinch, except I'm much better looking than the Grinch. Or so my wife, who's paid to say it, tells me that I'm much better looking than everybody out there, the most handsome man in the world. Melania said so. Anyway.
I just wouldn't want to do that, but we'll do a little ripping if you don't mind.
He wouldn't want to rip people. That's a load of shit with all, what was it? Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, whatever Nancy, whatever, what did it call? Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, whatever Gavin Newsom is, I don't care. Anyway.
But it is true. I said, how do we handle this? It's going to be a different kind of an evening, and it is. And
those laughs are much lower than the laughs that Obama got, that's for damn sure, and much lower than the laughs that Biden got as well.
in many ways, it's a more beautiful evening, actually. Everyone's looking really good tonight, and I know it was not.
And I see a few people I want to make my next wife. Don't tell Melania.
Not easy finding shoes to go along with your bulletproof vest, which many people didn't want to wear because they'd rather die than look 20 pounds heavier, you know.
Does that deserve another? Yeah, I don't know. Again, he could have... I wonder if he tried to pay, like, some actual good comedians to write jokes for him, and most of them are probably like, nope, nope, nope. So they had to get, like, you know, what was it, Tony Hitchcliffe or whatever, and, you know, to write all the jokes.
Big job. We all love her.
For a second, I thought that was Amy Schumer. I don't know why, but
She's done a fantastic job. She's another one. She can be nasty. But sometimes she has no choice, right?
she can be nasty, but that's the way I like them. She's gonna move on to me after her husband dies.
But Caroline may have one of the hardest jobs in the White House. She has to deal with all of you all of the time, and you can be very...
Okay, that's actually not a bad line. I'll give whoever wrote that one.
Very difficult. You can be very, very difficult people, but I'm probably being a little bit oversensitive. Sometimes I really do think that some of you don't like me. In fact, I read a report, I get 93% negative publicity. 93. So how the hell did I win the election by so much? Think of it.
Because all the elections are crooked. Oh, they're crooked. That's why I won. With 93%, that's why I won. Even because there's 93% of the people who hate me, but they really love me because they don't want to admit it because the lying media, the Lugan press. Yeah. I often question myself, how did you win as well, Donald? And that's typically because, you know, stupid people in large numbers can do stupid things.
In the 80s, maybe, but not 93. But this place is really the largest.
I would get, my negative rating would be 17 or under, and that's the number that I like with Jeff Epstein.
Group of Trump derangement syndrome people.
Yeah, because, you know, unlike Fox News and OAN or whatever, who have TDRS, which is Trump dick riding syndrome, but okay. Let's see. Let's fast forward ahead to there-ish.
That are going along with it for safety and security of future presidents. You know, I'm only going to be using it for about 6 months, assuming we finish it right on time. I get to use it. Somebody said he's building it for himself. I'm building it for the future. I'm not building. I use it. Now, had I not gone down 6 or 7 stories, then in that case, I would have been able to get a couple of years out of it. But that was far more complex what we did downstairs than what we do upstairs. So
I don't know if what Donald Trump has downstairs or upstairs is complex at all. Anyway.
We're very proud of it, though. It's going to be amazing. And I think I was just telling the whole group sitting at the table, we were talking about it. I said, I think, you know, it's White House correspondence, so I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to use that. It's going to be very large and very beautiful and very safe.
It's going to be very large. Stormy didn't say that about me, but, you know, she's one of the liars. Melania says I'm very handsome and very well endowed.
And that's what you
She might be paid to say it, but she says it.
need. So I was thrilled to see that after witnessing the attack, even Democrat Senator John Fetterman told his fellow
The one who had a stroke.
Democrats to drop the Trump derangement syndrome and build the White House ballroom. But it's much more than that. It's something that you're going to use. I predict that you're going to end up using it, and a lot of people are going to end up using it. They're going to be...
People are going to piss all over it, and then he's going to get excited because, why didn't I think if the Russian hookers could have used that on me too? That would have been a good use for this ballroom, for me to ball, because I'm a baller. Shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala.
Remember the lobby floor? 82,000 feet. For those in the real estate business, 82,000 feet. That's a major floor. That thing was packed every single night. It was packed, mostly Republicans, I would say, but it was packed every single night. It almost brings back...
It was packed every single night because of Grindr. They crashed Grindr because they were packing in lots of things.
Back memories, but I left town, and I have just had nothing but good experience, and this might be the best experience of all, having all of these incredible people in this room. It's a great feeling.
So incredible people.
Feeling. But tonight's event, thank you. But tonight's event is even crazier than the last time. In fact, it's so successful that I've been informed by CBS News' David Ellison, who's going to do a fantastic job. He's the owner.
He's going to do a what now? A fantastic what?
He's the owner. He bought it, spent a lot of money, and he's going to make, I think, fantastic changes and keep some of the great stuff going. But that next year they're going to call it the Trump White House Correspondents Center. He told me that, and I like that very much. We're going to change the name of it, okay? Well,
I mean, that's what I put it on my thing because I'm surprised he hasn't plastered his name on that and everything else. On the silverware, on the dishes, on the, you know, have like, you know, Trump and Jeffrey Epstein on the plates, on the plates like you had on Birdcage, the people playing Leapfrog, you know, all that kind of stuff.
oh, it's going to be so hot, just like our country is hot.
Is the hottest country, whatever. Should put his face on toilet paper rolls. I don't know if that would increase toilet paper sales or decrease toilet paper sales. Be questioning. I mean, you'd probably have all of the Republicans buying it all up because they'd want to keep it as a collectible. And then you'd have everybody else trying to use it to wipe their asses with. So it is what it is.
We are hot, by the way. But
We're so hot.
Honest, it's
I think
just
I have another one coming up soon, so I'm not going to fast forward.
it's about the only way that they're going to ever get me back here. You're going to have to change the name of the dinner. But that was it.
You're going to have to change the what? Like, what? Like, is he having a stroke right now? Is he going full on dementia Don right now?
That one going not too good. I hope that everyone
Christine, of course we're hot. We're in hell. Absolutely.
finally got to enjoy their entire
I like how C-SPAN. President Trump then watch Senator candidate El Sayed Democrat rally live Saturday 1 p.m. Eastern.
very delicious beef tenderloins, very special beef. And I want you all to know that Bobby Kennedy, who's right here, personally ran over the cow in his car.
All right, that maybe deserves a... So again, whoever wrote that managed to get a good one off, I guess. Now he's going to explain it and ruin it. Watch. That's my prediction. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
And he cut it up and he brought it here for you to eat tonight, so it's very fresh. And Bobby also suggested an appetizer featuring his favorite cut of male raccoon roadkill. But we drew the line at that, Cheryl. We said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not doing that. We love Bobby. I'll tell you, it is a piece of work. You think it is fun, but he is a very different kind of a person, I will tell you. But he has what it takes, and he's smart, and he loves the country, and he wants...
Yeah, no. He's smart. But again, whoever Trump thinks is smart is not necessarily smart. Smart compared to Trump? Maybe. Smart compared to, people who actually understand science and everybody else who ran the Department of Health in the past under various presidents? Not so much. Let's see. Let's fast forward a little bit. There we go.
And it was absolutely one of the most incredible things anybody's ever seen. People said it's one of the most incredible nights of their lives. So just remember, before I came along, if you wanted to see someone lose consciousness on the south lawn of the White House, all you had to do is ask Joe Biden a question. Remember that.
Hello, dumbass. You've fallen asleep, many, many, many more times than Biden ever has. And I'm including nighttime sleep as well. Although maybe usually he's up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, on the shitter, trying to do his next, typo.
Oh, you think I'm kidding? But the big fight was such an amazing success that tonight I'm pleased to announce that we're going to host an even bigger one right in front of the White House. Every Friday night, every Saturday night, we're going to have fights in front of the White House. But we do have something coming and I'm only kidding.
I'm only kidding, but I'm not kidding, but I am kidding, but I'm not kidding, but I am, but I'm not, but I am, but I'm not.
Time. It was incredible. We started speaking at 11 o'clock in the evening, but tremendous numbers of people.
Tremendous numbers of people like no one's ever seen.
Back, and it was a great evening, and it was a celebration. And we didn't do it the following day, and we didn't do it 2 weeks later. We did it when we were supposed to do it. It was a fantastic celebration.
Jan, tipping cow's not cool. Tipping Don old, maybe.
But I can exclusively reveal to you this evening that for the heaviest of the heavyweights, we will have sloppy Chris Christie, one of the sloppiest human beings you'll ever meet.
I'm not going to roast people, but I am going to call people names.
Fighting, I would say, I could mention the governor of Chicago, but I'm going to mention instead Jerry Nadler. And they're fighting for a big piece of cheesecake, big fat piece of cheesecake. Who the hell wrote that line? But
you probably wrote it yourself, dummy.
It's true. And then you have a Congresswoman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
But they probably had to write jokes down to your level to be able to, so you would understand them, because a smart joke would be too difficult for Donald Trump to understand.
AOC plus 3. That's her 3 friends, right? AOC plus 3, and I watched her give that answer when she was over in Europe. It was not a good answer. If I ever gave that answer, I would be out of politics. Remember, you cannot have a 19...
The amount of stuff that you do that should have made you out of politics is a list miles long.
15-second wait.
And Miles Long is not definitely not Donald Trump's porn name.
Time to answer really a very quite simple question, but we'll then have a rematch against an extreme simple question on a foreign policy from Munich Security Conference. It was a big security.
What is he rambling about? Let's fast forward to the next thing, because holy shit. Let's see. Just
Shows the
timestamp.
people in the UFC. It was between the two of them of the UFC. And what about Bruce Springsteen? What the hell happened to that guy? He looks like hell. I don't care what anyone says.
Hello, pot. Calling the kettle black? I would never call anything black. I would use the N-word instead.
So I'm not supposed to say. I'm sure he doesn't like the way I look, but I don't look so bad.
Just because you pay Melania to tell you look good, it doesn't mean you look good.
But at a recent
I mean, for most of the people that hang around you, it's kind of hard for them to see your, face because they're too busy kissing your ass all the damn time. But,
Bruce, all he did was talk politics. He ought to run for office. That'd be interesting. But all he talked about, he made 4 political speeches in his 3-hour show. The tour has been
That's ridiculous. You need to start braiding that nunt.
renamed Bored in the USA. And his new song was so bad that Chris Christie, who's like a fan, he goes out and tells everybody how he hates Chris Christie. Keep that guy out of my... And I see Chris Christie there again, high-fiving Bruce Springsteen in the aisle. And Bruce Springsteen saw him and didn't even lift his hand up. And I just wanted, because I used to be friendly with Chris. Chris, when somebody doesn't like you, write them off. Forget it. You got billions of people in the world. You don't have to make a jerk out of yourself.
Yet, somehow, you manage to do it every single goddamn day of your life.
But usually a comedian hosts this dinner, and I think we sort of changed it. Tonight we're going to have somebody who I think is really spectacular, but I've watched comedians get up for the dinner, because I have been here.
I've watched comedians... What? Trouble fumbling over your words there, Donnie Boy, Dementia Don?
Actually, quite a few times, people don't realize. And there's one time in particular when Barack Hussein Obama hosted it. Do you know who that is?
What?
And he hit me hard, but actually he hit me with respect. I was sitting with Melania at a table.
No, he was mocking you, you dummy.
And you had Brooklyn Decker, supermodel, at a table right next to her. And I really always will like her. She's married to a great tennis player, Andy. And she was at the table, not at my table. And I have watched this clip thousands of times. They keep playing it because they think that was the evening I decided to run for president. It was not. In fact, I loved the evening. I looked at my wife.
Yeah, if you look at the pictures, the stills of you getting roasted by Obama, and you clearly see that you are absolutely uncomfortable. So again, you can't believe anything that Donald Trump says, even when he's at a roasting other people, not roasting himself, but... Yeah, exactly, Dark Leaders. Obama lives rent-free in his head.
I said, can you believe it? All these people, that's all they're doing is talking about me. I love this dinner. It's true.
If you like people talking about you, then you would have had a comedian there roasting you and everybody else, and you would have loved it, but you're a liar.
And Obama was nice. It's amazing.
Big Hook. When Trump looks into the mirror, he says, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most corrupt of them all? And the mirror says, it's afraid it doesn't say me. It says Hillary because it knows I'll break it if he says me. Anyway, yeah, ODS, Obama Derangement Syndrome.
He actually showed a picture of the White House with a big Trump on top. Like I put a sign, and I'm sort of doing that when you think about it, right?
He was right, because he was mocking you. He was making fun of you, you dummy.
I mean, he wasn't really wrong. But no, he was respectful. He was good, and it had nothing to do. It had nothing to do. I just decided that...
Nothing to do. I just decided. Boy,
Jackie will treat me very bad. But this year, the association decided not to have a comedian, so they...
It was that what happened? It wasn't you saying, I'm not going to show up if you have a comedian?
Considered using Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon.
if you would have had balls, if Donald Trump wanted to prove that he had a gigantic pair of testicles, or at least any pair of testicles, Donald Trump would have absolutely said, get Stephen Colbert to roast. If he really wanted to do that, if he really wanted to show that he had guts, he would absolutely have done that. He didn't. Or Kimmel, or anybody for that matter. But nope.
These guys, they're terrible. They're terrible. Stephen Colbert, these are people without talent. They get a lot.
Yeah, that's why, all the other people were, sad that, your buddy, let him go.
They have talent. You know who has talent? Their agent, getting them the money they get. They have no talent. But they are not comedians. They're not funny people. They're angry people. They're sick people.
They're much funnier than you, and they're actually pretty darn funny. So go right ahead. I mean, I'm not the biggest on Kimmel, but he has his moments.
People. But the association really put on a big show, and they have somebody very special. I look forward to seeing him. And so they thought about going with a professional clown for entertainment.
But we have, Donald Trump as president already, so we don't need one. He even has the orange face paint on it, right?
But Adam Shifty Schiff was not available.
Boom, boom, boom.
He's known. I called him.
Listen to that silence after that joke, too. Holy shit.
I hate some people. I shouldn't say this. I'm not supposed to hate. I'm supposed to love everybody. But he's a terrible person. He's a liar. And
takes one to know one.
I called him Watermelon Head because he has the largest head I've ever seen with the smallest neck.
I'm sure you've never said that.
Pencil neck. How does that big, fat, ugly head stand on a little pencil neck? And then pencil neck. Oh, is that like Thundercats? But with wood?
And I'm told that. But, probably doesn't have much of that because, older and, what Stormy said. Let's see. Let's fast forward a little more.
Weapons, I see it. I get to see it. We're not going to let that happen.
David, 666. Thank you for the 666 super chat. Appreciate you, David. Yes, the number amuses us all. It does.
And so this is all about we will not let them have a nuclear weapon.
But I thought that was last year then you did that. And then no, the reason is you don't want to have all the Epstein files released.
And they would use it. They would.
Imagine paying money to sit and watch Grandpa shit on everyone, and probably literally and not just figuratively.
They'd use it if they had it. But I do have one question about what happened that time because he was there. How the hell did you not see that coming? He sees everything. He's telling me about your grandmother and your this. Why the hell didn't you? We got to ask him that question when he gets up here. Why didn't he see that coming? But of course, this evening, it's really all about the fake news media.
But I've never seen anybody coming because I'm not a very good lover.
And your handling of prizes, writing and producing and performing made-up stories like the Academy Awards. Academy Awards used to be the epitome.
The Academy, I know he says he doesn't drink, but still, come on.
Of ratings. Outside of the Super Bowl, it got the second most ratings. Now it's down in the dumps. Nobody wants to watch it anymore because they took on.
Well, Sir Rock, I did kind of fast forward a couple minutes at least because we're skipping some shit. Well, we're not skipping all the shit because if it was all the shit, we'd be just bypassing everything. But we're handling a couple of minutes worth of stuff.
When Trump,
yeah, Damon Dog, the Adderall's wearing off.
They hit me all night long. They hit me. The winner is so-and-so. I want to talk about Donald Trump. I hate this man. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. Right, Peter? Nobody wants to hear it. You ever see the ratings? They used to have 48 million people. Now they have 2 people watching. But they'll learn their lesson. But I want to personally congratulate CNN's...
Yeah, Mark, could this be the stroke he didn't have a while back? Exactly.
Caitlin Collins, on receiving her award... It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, Caitlin.
It's a fake, but I didn't mind. What's a fake?
Congratulations. but it was fake. There's no
Yeah,
question about
exactly.
it. But she's a
Dean. He should talk about how he branded the Emmy Awards rigged because he didn't win. Exactly. Anytime he doesn't win, it's rigged.
young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, Caitlin, do you have
You should smile more. It always used to work for me. I tell women they should smile, and they do. Probably because, you pay them to smile.
a smile? Smile. You have a nice position.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, there's a time where this is like, red pill, MGTOW, incel bullshit where you tell women to smile and you think you're the creative one because you came up with it yourself, when every single guy on the planet, mostly at one point in time and the other, thought to themselves, oh, it might be a nice way to flirt with somebody by telling them to smile. And look, I'll be honest with you. I did that too once, and then I realized how stupid it was.
You're at CNN fake news.
You're so much prettier when you smile. Someone should say that to Don.
You should be a happy
Although they would be lying.
person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack.
I love how they're not showing her face. Like, I bet it's just like a, fuck you.
And I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can. It was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan
3 laughs at that horrible joke.
Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was
Sure.
the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Most people don't care, but I would. I wouldn't want to hire Dylan anytime soon. Think of it, they hired
I bet you would. Because I bet you in secret, you're a chaser.
Dylan Mulvaney, and their market cap has gone down by $35 billion. Who wrote that commercial? And then you have writer Josh Dorsey. He also received. He's been killing me for years. No, and yet tonight he shakes my hand, he hugs me, everything nice. He kills me. Josh is amazing. He writes more stories than any human being. There's nobody that writes more than Josh. He'll write 4 stories about me a day, all different subjects. I mean, I had the other day 3 stories and one on he was upset about this. 1 was on page 7, 3 were on page 1. They were all written by Josh. But he's hit the big time, and he's a workhorse, and yet he's almost unhireable. He's just...
I'm just doing a search. I mean, there was billions in the amount of market cap that they lost, but it wasn't the number that Trump gave.
One of these guys, Wall Street Journal's lucky to have him, but it's unbelievable. He's almost unhireable. CNN is also here, and I'm very disappointed they didn't bring fake Tapper because he's had a rough...
He didn't bring fake Tapper. I'm not going to roast people, but I'm going to call him names. This guy is in kindergarten. He is a kindergartner with the amount of names he has to call people.
Years, fake has. He calls me up every once in a while. If I pick it up, I pick up my phone. I used to go to this young lady. I'd say, any calls from the press? No, sir. I said, oh, now I'm the president of the United States, right? I'd say to Stephen Chung,
because they don't want to talk to you because you're a shithead.
Been here someplace? Where's Stephen? He's one of the toughest human beings I've ever met. Don't ever wrestle Stephen. You'll be in big trouble. But I say, Steve.
What?
Stephen, let me ask you, did the press call? No, sir. When I was a developer, I'd get a call every half an hour. For whatever reason, I always got disproportionate press. So I said, Steve.
Probably because you paid for it, dummy.
Stephen, nobody called? No, sir.
Nick Rich, has anybody bothered counting how many lies he said tonight? And probably not, because it would break the computer or calculator.
2 hours later, I say, hi, Steve, how are we doing? Everything good? Anybody call? No, sir, no press calls. I say, I'm president. Nope, they never call. So this went on for about a week.
Probably half the time your handlers are just sitting there like, we don't want you talking to the press because you stick your foot in your mouth so much and you don't even need ketchup because you threw it up against the wall.
Say, Caroline, did the press call? No, sir, no calls. I said, nothing. It's over a week. I haven't received a call. So I said, you know what I'll do? I'm going to give the press my phone number. That was the stupidest thing I ever did. I'm getting a call every 3.7 minutes.
I don't know if that's the stupidest thing you've ever done. I mean, you've done a lot of stupid shit as president and beyond.
Stephen, I don't know where the hell you've been, but the press calls, I'm getting calls, ring, ring. I was with somebody today.
Imagine his cell phone actually sounded like that. Ring, ring.
He said, I've never heard a phone ring as much as it's fresh. Now, I look at the thing and usually
it rings like no one can believe. Probably never rings at all.
just delete, delete, delete. Every once in a while, it'll be one of the people in this room that I like, and I'll pick it up. Like this one right here calls me on occasion, right? She'll call me and she says, hello, sir. How
Yeah, hello, sir. Like, nobody fucking calls you sir unless they want a pardon.
are you? We want to talk about some horrible subject, like a horrible, depressing subject. I say, Jackie, I don't want to talk about it. Congratulations, however, on your new marriage. But I don't want to talk about it. But it's true. And people call me now. And so for weeks I go, no calls. And I learned then that both of them.
Wait. That's breaking news. There should be a Fox like whoosh. Breaking news. Donald Trump learned something today.
They feel that I'm doing a great job, and they feel I'm above it all, and that no person, hundreds of people call no person, is good enough to talk to Trump. And so we don't even bother telling you. That's not the way it works, Caroline. You have to let me know, because sometimes I do like to speak to the press, but now
I like to have my ass kissed. They wanted everybody to kiss my ass. If they're willing to kiss my ass, let them through.
I have the best system I've ever had. It rings, and just so you understand, you're much better at putting your name, because if there's no name, I just can't do that. You know, I pick up every once in a while. Hello, I'm from Reno, Nevada. We're a startup paper. We're calling us the Reno
I would never bother calling. I would never want to talk to the man.
Express. I said, do you believe I'm the president of the United States? Mr. President, could I have your views on Iran? And I just hang up. No, I get the craziest calls. I mean, some of them.
I get a call from, people called Vladimir Hooten, and he pranks calls me all the time, tells me asks if my refrigerator's running, and then when he, when I say, I don't know, I think it is, and then he's like, well, you better go catch it.
My wife said, I can't believe you do this. This is a hell of.
Or like, someone calls like the Vladimir Putin, whatever, like, do you have a person there, last name Hug and Kiss, first name Amanda? I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. Please, can anybody find me Amanda Hug and Kiss?
Way to live. But sometimes they get calls from very important. Sometimes I can straighten out stories that are going to be fake, and I can make them from a
fake
story to a good story. I always find that when you don't speak to the press, you always get a bad story.
I would find that if, you treat people like shit and you do poorly at your job, you're going to get a bad story. That's why 93% or whatever of the media coverage about you is negative, because you do that much terrible shit.
When you do speak to the press, you have a shot at getting a good story.
And JD runs in the room to Amanda Hug and Kiss, yeah.
Oh, look.
Alyosha, where's the playoff music for Grandpa Trump? He should go up. He should exit the stage instead of exiting the stage to, YMCA doing the double hand jobs back and forth. Somebody should have had Biden done it.
Look, if I were a reporter, and let's say I'm a big reporter, I work for the failing New York Times, or I work for, I don't know, do they ever come to?
They've been the failing New York Times for how long now, and they're still in existence? That's a pretty bad job of failing.
These dinners, didn't they cancel out a long time?
Well, Steven says exactly. He never takes any responsibility for anything, because personal accountability is an idea so foreign to Donald Trump that he's already tried to deport it.
Time ago, big mistake. They should be here. But I get a call. I've always found that, speaking to them, you just do better. You do better when you can, when you have the time. You speak to the reporter. You treat the reporter with.
What is this rambling bullshit? I mean, I only have a few more minutes left in the time span that I wanted to go over, but this is rambling bullshit.
Respect. Sometimes now there are reporters where it doesn't matter. You can be so nice to them, it doesn't matter. You get treated unfairly, but you have a lot of great reporters.
Treated unfairly, like when they said I lost, that was totally unfair. It's a negative story. They don't like me. They said I lost. Only the people that said I won tell the truth, even when I did lose.
But it's where when you speak to them, you can
56 inches. This is torturous. Should be tortious too. Maybe who's going to sue him for it?
get your point across, and that's a good thing. But some people say that Jake Tapper is a great investigative reporter in D.C., and that's why after moderating our debate, it only took him 1 year to break the story that Joe Biden might possibly have suffered from cognitive decline. It took him 1 year.
And I don't know what that means because I'm suffering from the same thing. Yeah, imagine 2 80-year-olds and not suffering from cognitive decline.
He wrote a book about how great he was mentally, not too good. And I don't like Biden because Biden was very unfair to a lot of people. But Jill Biden insists that Joe would have beaten me in 2024, even though he was way down. She said he's...
Probably would have, simply because of the fact that, a bunch of sexists and racists, refused to vote for the Democratic ticket when they voted for a Democrat statewide. If all of the people who voted for Democrats in statewide office had also voted for Kamala Harris, guess what? You wouldn't be president.
way behind in the polls because...
Yeah, exactly, Yaakov. If no matter where or what he's doing, consistently stuck on demented repeat. Yeah, this is dementia because he has to say the same damn thing over and over and over again.
He was seriously ahead. She felt he was going to win because he was seriously ahead on deceased voters. He was leading in the deceased crowd, and there were a lot of them. You're finding out there's a lot of them. Look at the...
You don't have no idea what you're talking about, but...
numbers that just came out yesterday. And it's traditional that at least one or two potential presidential hopefuls attend the Correspondents' dinner, but many of them seem to have really chickened out. I was...
that pot calling the kettle black. I don't even know if it's the kettle that's being... But, you're definitely calling something black while being the pot.
Disappointed that Gavin Newsom didn't show up. He didn't show up.
David Dog, if he weaves anymore, we all get a free basket.
Should be here. But I heard that he recently said that we will lose our country if we don't fight fire with fire. And to be fair, there's only one thing we know about Gavin, and that's that he definitely doesn't want to fight fire with water. He's got a lot of water he never uses. Water.
He probably thinks it'll be perfectly okay to take the water from the sea, from the ocean, the salty water, and dump it all over the plants and that are burning on fire. He probably thinks you could just do that and everything would be okie dokie, hunky dory because everybody in the administration either hates science or ignores the science because they have to kiss Donald Trump's ass. So let's go ahead and close that up. So what do you think, guys? Was that probably still too much Donald Trump for anybody's liking, but we were not going to cover the whole damn thing. And even now, it's still like a 47-minute long video of us doing commentary on just a brief portion of Donald Trump's meandering, dementia-riddled speech or whatever at the Correspondents' dinner. Probably the rating for this one's going to be super low because, it's not funny. Not funny at all. I'm only half tempted to watch the Oz Perlman thing just to see how much his eyes are like, ooh, that's good. I don't know how he does it. Anyway, what do you think? You think Donald Trump did a great job? Just let me know in the comments because I'd love to see who thinks so because, he didn't. And I hit the right button this time, too. I didn't stop streaming like I did the last time. So Donald's weave makes us heave. You're more creative. That joke right there, Penny Too Great, is more creative than anything Donald Trump has ever said ever in his entire life. So, yeah, MJ Daniel way long. I also watched Hal. And, again, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to do the whole thing because I didn't want to put everybody through everything again. But, I'd already had planned, some segments to go over anyway because I didn't want to go over the whole thing because it's him. We're still waiting, by the way. If you've missed the last show of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. There was a story about a young man, On God Singh, who was at like the what is it, the presidential 2026 presidential 1776 award competition, and everybody in the competition who was a participant in the competition thought that he should have won, and then he got every answer right, but the scoring says no otherwise. But again, just to review, I've done a couple of Freedom of Information requests from the Department of Education to try and see what information we can get. Now, will we believe the information that comes out? I don't know. But we've done the Freedom of Information request. We will see exactly what we get back from this administration, and then we'll have to go through it at that point and be like, is this legit? Is this fake? Whatever. But, I don't know if anybody else decided to do it, so that's why I decided to jump on and do it myself, because the fact that this administration is a white supremacist administration needs to be have a light shone upon it for all of the people who might be, teetering on whether or not you're going to vote for somebody in the fall. Like, one thing I want to talk about, I guess, before we go to the Nick video, because me and Nick have been, I guess, trading barbs back and forth, is the whole the people who are centrists, who are having problems with, let's record this too, why not? So we have the people who, like in 2024 and 2020, both, in 2016 even, were like, vote blue no matter who. And these were like the centrist Democrats who were trying to tell the people on the left that you need to vote blue because otherwise our country's screwed. And I didn't disagree with them. I'm probably more to the left than all of those people who were doing the vote blue no matter who. But to me, the biggest threat to this country was Donald Trump. So there's that. That being said, now you have a bunch of centrists like, your James Carvilles or whatever, and people who are out there who are trying to, raise a big stink over the fact that there are DSA candidates who are winning primaries and are doing a good job with it. And even DSA candidates who win the general election and are doing a great job with their city, like Mamdani. So I want to tell to each and every one of those centrist Democrats, when they're sitting there complaining about who won the primary and they're teetering about who they're going to vote for, the answer to y'all is vote blue no matter who. Doesn't matter if the person is a centrist Democrat. It doesn't matter if the person is a progressive leftist DSA member. If that person's running under the Democratic banner, you go out there and vote for that person, because it is more important to make Trump lose both houses of Congress than it is for you to be expecting perfection from your side of the aisle. And if you are somebody who told people to vote blue no matter who as a centrist ever, if you were trying to yell at leftists to say vote blue no matter who, and you're not willing to do the same thing yourself, you're a goddamn hypocrite. Simple as that. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Exactly. 99 days till the midterms. Exactly. Petrazi, I can't stand when Dems shit on other Dems. Exactly. But even everybody on the left needs to come together, because it's not a perfect situation by all means in any stretch. Like, you're going to have people who are going to be running who are not going to, like that. But guess what? Deal with it. You can work on the internal squabbles later. There's a bigger threat that's happening right now in our country, and that's the Republican Party. And do not let the squabbles, inter-party squabbles, affect what needs to happen in November. Simple as that, right? Exactly. MJ Daniel, how did not voting for Harris work out? I think there would still be a Gaza if she were president. A lot of people would be alive today. I mean, there are people who are on the left who don't think that the Biden administration did enough to do, what was needed. Of course, some of the stuff that Biden was doing was behind the scenes, and we were just used to 4 years of Donald Trump, who did everything out loud and everything loud. Anyway. So, this is going to be interesting because you're going to have on your screen, you're going to be seeing 2 examples of Nick and 2 examples of me. Big Hook, they hate everyone who shows them up. Yep. Billy Kid 73, any not so good Dem is far better than any Republican. That is also true. MST Wash, Kamala would have been so much better than Trump. Yes, she would have. Yes, unless and Fan San goes, yes, unless and until the Democratic Party has 400 House members, 75 senators, and the presidency, no purity testing. Yep. Jen goes, I'm nesting in my new apartment, my own again after having long COVID. It's been 4 effing years. Mazel tov, Jen. I'm very happy for you that you have your own place. CRL, he did great for Democratic ads in November. Yes, exactly. Gen X George, long day. I think it's time for me to shut up and listen. Love you all. Well, thank you, Gen X George, for being here. Hey, it's Teresa. Good to see you, Teresa, as well. Everybody, make sure to smash that like button. We have 131 viewers and only 79 likes. 250 kilo ohm. I was so looking forward to Harris in office. I mean, I had my issues with Harris too, but even back in 2020, even back in 2020 when she was running for president in the primaries, and I really didn't want her to win the primary, I would say, I'm always caveat with it, look, I'm not a big fan of Harris for what she did as AG in California, but if it's between Harris and Trump, I'm absolutely voting for Harris. Absolutely, no question in my mind. Not that my vote matters because I live in Louisiana. So, again, we're at 9 o'clock. Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays here on liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube channel, or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. Either way gets you there. Thank each and every one of you for that. MST Watch, where was Vote Blue no matter who when it came to Harris? Well, that wasn't the centrist doing it. That was, well, I don't know, maybe a little bit of the centrist doing it. I don't know exactly who specifically did it, but there were people who voted blue all right. Because again, as I said before, if every single person who voted for a Democratic statewide candidate also voted for Harris, Harris would have won. In the 7 states that mattered under that the election rules that we have, there is a Democrat that won statewide. North Carolina governor, Arizona, New Mexico, Michigan, Wisconsin, all the states that had statewide Democratic candidates win, but Harris didn't. I want to ask every single one of those people, every single one of those people who voted for a Democrat but not for Harris, why? Why would you either not vote for the ticket or vote in a way that would allow Donald Trump to win? Did you have a good time in the first Donald Trump term? Did you think he handled COVID well? Do you think his being a racist and bigot is somehow good for the country? So, anyway. If you don't vote VU, what do you do? And actually, because I'm registered no party currently because I wanted to participate in some shenanigans this year, I did vote in the Republican primary for the Senate race in Louisiana. And it actually, I'm not saying that my vote caused it, but the Republican primary turned out, I think, exactly as we needed it to give Jamie Davis, the Democratic candidate, the best shot of winning. Because we didn't want Bill Cassidy there, because the power of the incumbency is great, and Republicans, I think, would have caved. But we wanted to make sure that the runoff was between John Fleming, the hyper-conservative MAGA person, and then Julia Letlow, who is the Trump-endorsed candidate, who also supports carbon capture, and especially, with how Jeff Landry's doing, which is, giveaways to big companies and letting them abuse eminent domain laws to be able to, take people's private property to use for private projects. But then we wanted Letlow to win because, again, Trump-backed candidates are underperforming compared to Trump in 2024. And there are people in Louisiana who are Republicans who are not going to vote for Letlow because of her support for data centers and carbon sequestration projects, which includes eminent domain abuse. So I think if Louisiana is going to have another Democratic senator, which we haven't had since Mary Landrieu, if Louisiana is going to get another Democratic senator, having Julia Letlow out there is probably one of the best bets, one of the best ways to be able to defeat the Republicans is to have what I think is the weakest Republican out there. Will she still win? Maybe, because it's Louisiana and we always vote against our best interests. But I think having Letlow in there gives us the best opportunity. Trump thinks he's going to be president again in 2028, so delusional with his health problems. Is he kidding? Well, he says he never kids, but, you know, it's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous that the conservatives aren't like, oops. Although I did hear something on the news today where somebody said that they voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and now they're like, it was the biggest political mistake I've ever made. So... let's see. Damon Dog, his middle name is John. That should have been a clue. Good one. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring this back up from the laptop. And again, look, it's me and Nick. Or it's me and Nick again, because I'm doing a response video. I did a response video to this video for Nick, and then Nick interjected himself into this response video for here. So now we have, you know, 2 Dans and 2 Nicks on your screen. So Mazel Tov, more Dan and more Nick. And I skipped the first minute or so because it really didn't do much. But, you know, we're having this little back and forth, so why not let it continue, right? So here you go. Here is Nick Driver, and we are recording this as well, just to have a long one, although we'll let little bits of the arguments get into the clip software as well. And we will see what Nick had to say in response to what I said in response to him. Yeah, response inception, exactly, Darkly Yours. I was literally about to make that joke, so brilliant minds think alike. Speaking of which, where's atrocious at every game? Anyway.
All right, guys, so here is...
Of course, you know, he's going to be doubtful of it because Nick does try and paint himself more as a centrist, but a lot of the times the people who paint themselves as a centrist are just conservatives with an asterisk, like maybe 1 or 2 issues that they disagree with, but otherwise are just conservatives. So,
all right, well, first off,
apparently I was wrong. Now let's see if Nick tells us why I was wrong. Because look, I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. If I have a wrong interpretation of his political leanings, then absolutely I will 100% admit that I was wrong. Will Nick do the same? I don't know. But apparently I was wrong. Let's see if Nick points out anything about me being wrong.
Dan, you're wrong, like normal. So here we go, guys. Dan likes to speak down to people, man. Like,
okay, so I'm wrong, but so far he hasn't said why I'm wrong. I mean, are you not conservative? I mean, you can go look at his channel. There is a conversation that was had between me and Nick and 2 conservative folks. And I was the only liberal on the panel. He even advertised it as me being the only liberal on the panel. So, and there are things that he's done in this video which are what other conservatives do. But again, he goes from Dan was wrong, but doesn't say why I was wrong, can't back up his argument, and then starts going into how I talk down to people. I mean, the only time I really talk down to people is when they're shorter than me. I do try and have a conversation with people, but sometimes Nick makes it very hard because of the way that he also talks to people. And a lot of the times, every conservative accusation is a confession. And you could see a couple of the comments in the chat right here. Let me actually make this a little smaller just so we can see more of the comments. Maybe just throw this over here for a second just to make it a wee bit smaller. And then people can see more of what's going on. And you can let us know in the chat if you believe that I talk down to people. Or that's the way I do things. Will I absolutely talk down to some people on some issues? Abso-fucking-lutely. If you act like a bigot or a racist or whatever, I'm going to talk down on you because I do think I'm better than you. Because racists and bigots are scumbags and need to be talked down to.
it's just the way he talks to people, man. I don't even know if he knows. He looks very condescending to people. I don't know if he knows that or not.
So what do you all think? Do I look condescending? Do I talk down? When I did my reaction video, if you were there for when I reacted to Nick the first time, was I being a condescending prick type of person, or was I just stating the facts as I know? Otherwise, hey Leanna, welcome to being a liberal Danimal. Appreciate you, and it's very good to see you. Thank you very much for joining the show tonight. Let's continue, shall we?
So at least we know now.
Wait, Gen X George, Dan, the art of intimidation by being smarter than them. Thank you.
That Dan knows, what I actually am. I thank God Dan knows how I vote. Guys, it is public.
I didn't say I know my vote. All I can do is judge you by what you say. I'm not in a voting booth with you, but I can judge you from what you say. And when you do things like misgender people, that makes me think that you are more conservative than other folks who don't misgender people. And when you say and do other things that you do, it makes me believe. Now, I can't know who you vote for. Maybe you talk a whole bunch of conservative shit and then vote party line straight down Dems. But your words don't reveal that to us. That's why I feel that you are a conservative. You are not as conservative as, the other two people that we had on a chat, who shall remain nameless. At this point, you can go check out my debate with those three and just see how fairly I was treated. Because, it was an interesting experiment. Let me just say that. Big Hook, who is this fool and why would anyone listen to him? I mean, he does have more subscribers than me, so there's that. There are people who are conservatives who listen to him. He has like a chat about his little area of town in North Carolina. Aaron knows him, so that's how I initially met Nick, was via Aaron. So blame her. Just kidding, Aaron. We love you.
Record. You can look up what party I'm actually affiliated with. I am.
What party you're affiliated with doesn't necessarily mean where you politically stand. I'm affiliated with no party at the point in the Louisiana voting rolls. Louisiana voting rolls has me as a Democrat. No, it has me as a no party. But I vote Democrat most of the damn time. In fact, I just talked about why I voted Republican in the primaries, and that was because I wanted to make sure the worst Republican made it through. So there's that. It was more strategery, so to speak.
Currently registered independent voter, and I am.
Look, registered independent voter doesn't mean squat. There are independent voters who are in the middle. There are independent voters who are on the left. There are independent voters who are on the right. Registered independent doesn't mean anything. Hell, registered Democrat in Louisiana doesn't mean anything, because there was one point where there was a bunch of conservatives who were Democrats that never changed their registration and they just vote differently. And it really doesn't matter, because guess what? Our primaries don't matter because our primary is held too late. And the general election doesn't matter because it's going to go towards the Republican anyway. So my vote doesn't count for squat.
Basically a libertarian type guy. So Dan.
And I did, before I started this show, before I started this whole thing, I basically said, you are libertarian. Libertarians in the United States of America are considered a conservative political party. Now, you might still, you're registered unaffiliated, you're not registered as a libertarian, but since you are a libertarian, you believe in like smaller government, you believe in other things that are conservative, and there are a few things that you probably agree with the liberals on. We probably agree on policy as it pertains to THC, etc. We probably agree on that. We probably agree on some other things as well. I'm sure of it. That being said, you are on the conservative. As I've described Nick before, as like the other two were way more conservative, but he's definitely on the right side of things, the right-winged side of things, not the correct side of things on most of the issues. Let's continue.
Hey, that's your first. Let's keep it going.
Here's him looking at, that's a terrible buzzer. Like, Nick, someone needs to get a new buzzer sound. The Atlantic and the supposed return of the Democratic manly man.
The Atlantic article we're going to look at here, guys. The return of the Democratic manly man, boy.
Oh, yeah.
And again, there you go. Mocking Dylan Mulvaney, just like Donald Trump did. And if you're somebody who's mocking Dylan Mulvaney, guess what? I'm going to assume that you're conservative. Of course, he has to mock trans women because that's what conservatives do.
I am half joking in this video. I'm clearly smiling in it. Maybe Dan.
All right, just because you're smiling doesn't mean you're necessarily joking. And when you punch down, it's kind of difficult to, say, oh, is that really a joke? Or sometimes it's Schrodinger's joke. We'll see whether or not it was meant to be a joke until he decides he hears somebody laughed at it or not. Because, oh, nobody laughed, I was just joking. Right?
Does not understand that, which we'll let him get away with that one. But, like I've mentioned in loads and loads and loads of videos, I do respect anybody doing what they want to do. However, in the context of this video, which Dan likes to take things out of context,
Do I know? Is he going to give an example of what I do out of context? I don't know.
No, manly man, normally joking around. Clearly, this is lighthearted because it's clearly ridiculous that the Democrat Party has to do this. It is a light joke to say, hey, man, Dylan Mulvaney is a manly man.
Again, not the most mature, and again, punching down isn't great comedy. But
That's Dan, man. Make a mountain out of a molehill, man. Let's get it. People in politics.
and then he's also wanting to count how many times I say Yes, I could probably improve on my diction and in the manner in which I speak to remove some of those grammatical pauses, so to speak, to make sure that I speak without saying. Maybe I should put a rubber band on my wrist every time I say the word I could go and snap it to negatively reinforce it whenever I say that. Or maybe I should have somebody with a buzzer under me or something that, shocks me every time I say the word. That being said, I'd rather say and have a correct opinion, and that when I'm kind to people and don't punch down, then speak perfectly and get things wrong. So, see, Pam, most libertarians I've known are misogynists who like to smoke weed and can't get laid. They set themselves apart from the other two parties in order to feel superior to both, and their catchphrase is, "Can't blame me, I didn't vote for them." Can't say anything wrong with that, right? But you might be taken as condescending too there, Pam, because you're speaking down to the libertarian folk. Exactly, Steph, and they're talking, and they're taking tea now. Yes, the Democrats are supporting supposed manly men. We're going to see what they say and what the Atlantic says and how he responds to it. Meanwhile, Pete Hegseth, again, as we talked about earlier, is wanting to make sure that I said, oh no, call the speech police. That the low T men get more testosterone to treat their low T. So again, something that conservatives would mock. If it was a man doing it. If Biden had done anything of the sort, and anybody under Biden had suggested it, they would have mocked Biden for having a military with low T. But under Trump, having people with low T in the military is fine as long as it gets treated, because...
Oh my God.
And he has to stop the song too. I mean, who stops the song? That's like one of the best songs in podcast history. Who would stop that song? I'm not saying it's the greatest song ever, but I think it's one of the greatest songs to ever come out of a podcast, right? I mean, can you imagine if Biden had canceled out of my video or not played my music? Orb Vroomer, he is here to pump you up. Thank you, Orb Vroomer. Good reference. The girly man. We are manly man, yeah.
God. You know what? It's like listening. It's like listening to someone that says nothing.
LOL.
It's like listening to someone who says a whole bunch of words and it's nothing. Guys,
has he actually ever contradicted me yet? Like, has he actually ever made a statement? Like, when I make a statement, does he actually comment on the statements that I make and then give a counterpoint? Because I haven't heard one yet. Did I miss it? I don't know. Phil Stone says, it is a great song for that category. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's not, Revolution by the Beatles. It's not Imagine, John Lennon. It's not Wonderwall. I'm just throwing in Wonderwall just for shits and giggles. I don't know. But it's definitely better than any other podcast music that I've heard. I mean, Hal produces some good stuff too. Especially this is some bullshit, right?
Political side. Dan is just so far down the liberal rabbit hole that he doesn't understand a basic concept.
Give me an example of something I don't understand, Nick. Please. Let me know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Probably any guy after 40 years old, your testosterone level is going to drop. But you know what? Leave it up to Dan to spin something as ridiculous as this low T story with the Army and Pete Hegseth. I have no idea how this.
Well, absolutely, because, again, conservatives mock people for having low T. That is one of their common attacks that I've seen online happen all the time. Oh, must be a low T beta cuck soy boy. You know, it's one of the things that they use. But now it's like, oh, we're going to embrace our low T servicemen and make sure that they can get the testosterone treatments that they need while denying them to other people who also need them. That's the point. But I'm sure you'll just gloss over that, right?
This Pete Hegseth story has anything to do with men leaving the Democrat Party in droves over horrible policy. But hey,
because it's showing the hypocrisy of if you're a guy who maybe suffers from low T, these are the people who mock you, but now somehow they magically support you, I guess as long as you're in the military, right?
Nevertheless, maybe Dan, he could probably go get a job at The View, man.
What?
He can hang out with Sonny Hostin, man.
And again, I'm condescending and I talk down to, but he makes a joke and plays a little hyena-ish type laugh. I mean, I know it's not exactly a hyena, but it sounds kind of hyena-ish. You know, that's fine. That's not condescending. That's not talking down to somebody. But I do it. I should say hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite, but not conservative. He's a libertarian, so I guess hypocrisy is a libertarian prerequisite too. Let's continue. Back to Nick.
It's the Democrat Party right now. The Republican Party has done stuff super cheese in the past, as well at times.
Yeah, like supporting serial rapists.
Just to help inform Dan.
This is one of my favorite parts that I did actually get to watch. So let's go.
And a little bit here. Trump was never convicted of rape, but
he was found civilly liable for sexual abuse. And if you want to play that nitpicky word as to whether or not you think, he also admitted to grabbing people by the hoo-ha without people's consent. So if you say that just because you're rich, you can grab people without your consent, and that you do it all the time, and then get convicted in a civil trial at least, or found civilly liable for sexually abusing somebody, then, oh well, I used the shorthand of grape. Even the judge said that it's reasonable to use the shorthand. And I never said he was convicted, did I? I never actually said that he was convicted of it. It is just my opinion that he is one based on his own words. And I think the words of his first wife and the words of other people and how he doesn't respect consent. Those type of people tend to commit sex crimes. But I'm wrong. Oh no. Let's continue.
People like Dan like to go out there and I say, hey, Trump's a rapist and you guys support a rapist first.
You do. You are. You are supporting somebody who has no problem with saying that rich people can just grab people without their consent and celebrate it. And someone who got found, where a jury of 12 people said, we believe it is more likely than not that Donald Trump, the man who said he can walk up and grope people without their consent, walked up to E. Jean Carroll and groped her without her consent.
He's not.
Oh, wait. Maybe I said that in a too condescending way. Maybe I have to spare Nick's feelings. Do I need to spare Nick's feelings? Because I'm too condescending in how I make my points. Despite I don't have a little laugh clip that I play.
Been criminally charged with grape. Okay.
I just created simple
product. Maybe this will have to be edited out when I edit the video just to get out all these silly ads. Because, can't begrudge him for having ads. Because
so
I do
Dan,
too.
That's actually false statement number 2, man. Let's keep it.
Again, you took it out of context.
Going. Let's get it. This is too easy, man. Let's get it. Owned the cheese.
I mean, I do like cheese. Brie, cheddar, Munster, Havarti, Gouda. Not a big fan of blue.
Cheddar.
Ironically, because blue is what our color are. Of course, we're blue and they're red because of the colors that they used in the 2020 election. Let's fast forward a little bit.
Never really thought of it like that, but that would be
Kamala. At least he liked my deprecating joke. And of course, this is me correcting him for saying Kamala Harris's name wrong.
I'm a man.
Oh, I'm a man, and I'm man enough.
See what I'm saying?
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a
I mean, you really shouldn't have shit in your daughter's hair, but, you know.
carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast. I ain't afraid of...
I mean, who doesn't eat a carburetor for breakfast, right?
Dan is so funny.
And that was me making fun of that line, because that line was a bit weird. But he ignores that. Takes that out of context.
Funny to me because Dan is so funny to me because he will go out there and call Trump a rapist, which Trump was never criminally charged for that. But yet again, he's like, it's not Kamala, it's Kamala.
Yes, because when y'all refuse to say her name properly, it's just another example of y'all refusing to show somebody respect. But when, you know, somebody brags about, you know, whether or not they can grab people without their consent and admit to doing it several times, because he admitted to doing it in the deposition too, when they do that, guess what? I'm going to consider them to be somebody who violates the consent of others, and I'm not going to be nitpicky over the word choice. So, and again, I never said convicted.
You see what I'm saying? Dan will call another man a rapist that was never criminally convicted.
It doesn't have to, gender has nothing to do with it. I will call somebody who is a woman a rapist too if they go ahead and violate the ability of somebody who you know, or do things with them who can't consent to them or who haven't consented to them. Right? I mean, I don't leave it on gender. Regardless of gender, if you violate the consent of somebody else, I'm going to be critical of you for it.
Of that. Yet he's like, Nick.
It's not Kamala. It's Kamala.
And that's what I do, because I feel like I need to educate some people who just refuse to speak correctly about other people. Now, you know.
So corny, man. Let's get it.
I'm corny. I'm so corny. I'm so corny. Nobody's cornier than me. I'm so corny. It's amazing. Dad jokes are rad jokes. Anyway, let's continue having fun with this.
Yeah, unbelievable, man. Guys, this is what the Democrat...
I mean, what are you doing in a New York jersey and you live in North Carolina? What the hell's wrong with you? You're supporting a Yankee team? What? Just kidding. I'm, again, telling a joke, not being seriously mocking of you for this particular thing. Just making a joke about your shirt choice. I mean, you know, Darth Vader.
Party is doing right now, regardless of what side you're on.
Some might say I'm on the dark side. Who knows?
It's corn, man. It's corn. It's...
I mean, it's just kind of showing about how to not be, you know, ultimately, you know, a toxic masculinity supporting type of person, which we all know that conservatives hate that term, toxic masculinity. They don't even understand it, just like Nick won't in a few seconds. I'm kind of burying the lead there, but, you know, it is what it is, right?
I wonder if Dan in his real life walks around thinking he's the smartest person in the room, and he...
Absolutely not. Now, again, when I was in the chat room with Nick and the two other folks, absolutely, I felt like I was the smartest person in that chat room. But there are definitely examples. I used to work for Louisiana Public Health Institute, and there were a lot of bright people in that room who knew many things about many other topics that I knew nothing about, or maybe knew something about, but they were the subject matter experts, and I would defer to them most of the time on issues, especially as it pertains to their careers. Now, when it came to software development issues, because I was there as a software developer, I would think they would defer to me for my expertise in that. So this is one of many examples of how I absolutely don't believe that I'm the smartest person in every room. Now, if I was in a room with a bunch of people with MAGA red hats and it was just me and them, if I did like a 1 versus 20, like the other video we've been responding to, I may very well think that I could very well be the smartest person in the room. I'm maybe not the most educated about every single issue, but maybe the most intelligent. You know, I wouldn't sit there and say I'm an expert on virology or epidemiology. But, you know, in that case, I'll defer to people like, you know, the epidemiologists and the virologists, like during a pandemic. I will listen to the experts and take their advice and pay their advice heed. But, you know, conservatives and libertarian folks don't like government telling you what to do, because somehow if they tell you what to do, that's tyranny. Wanting to stop the spread of a virus is apparently tyranny to some of these MAGA folks. I don't know if Nick masked up or socially distanced or not. I can't speak to that one bit. I don't know. But generally speaking, for the MAGA types, they were those of the people who refused to wear masks and refused to socially distance. I do know somebody who is a Trump supporter who also was very insistent on being masking up and being safe. So again, exceptions prove the rule. Dean, I would not yield and keep on showing him I'm smarter by a long shot. Thank you, Dean.
Understands everything more than anybody else. I wonder how many times a day.
Again, I'm condescending, but yet laughing thing. Oh, I was just joking with the laughing thing. I'm just having fun. But, you know,
hey, he does
sure.
that, man. Let's keep it going.
Corny and cheesy. It's like a Nachos Bel Grande. We are not sponsored by Taco Bell, but I'd be more than happy to have you if you wanted me. Anyway, let's continue.
And the way this guy's sitting.
And I'm very disappointed that Nick doesn't support the greatness of the Nacho Bel Grande. I mean, come on, you got to speak up and embrace the Nacho Bel Grande. Embrace. I mean, you love talking about the cheese. That's some cheese right there. That's some warm, melty cheese over some crunchy chips. Again, Taco Bell, if you want to sponsor Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left. That's right. And you know, we will make a run for the border with you. Let's continue. How he's sitting?
Yeah, bro.
Like, he's just sitting on a truck, and he's probably doing it purposely just to draw out the stupids.
Nah, bro. Nah.
But, you know, nah, bro.
Nah. You know what, Dan, again, man, my family born tobacco almost my entire life.
Wait, what is his family, what tobacco?
Oh, nah.
But, you know.
Nah. You know what, Dan, again, man, my family born tobacco.
A family born to... Can someone else explain that? Well, like, I don't understand what he says. I can't grasp what that word he's saying about what his family did with tobacco. So, I mean, maybe there's a tobacco growing term where that is actually means something to the tobacco growers of America or whatever, or anybody who grows tobacco anywhere. So maybe that's an example of a field or area of expertise that I don't know that Nick knows. And so Nick may very well be smarter than me or more informed about me as it pertains to the growing of and harvesting and selling of tobacco. Can't say that I know jack or shit about that.
My entire...
5 eggs. I was born Mopar. I was born a poor black child.
Almost my entire life. I've sat on tailgates with a whole bunch of people ranging from white to Hispanic to black, and nobody sits on a tailgate like...
I've seen plenty of men who are not, you know, who are straight, I would say, because again, he played the little gay sound bite for it. I've seen plenty of men sit all sorts of different ways, including this. Again, there's that laugh again.
Bro, the whole point of me making fun of this, which went over Dan's head evidently, was the idea of Kamala Harris's campaign and the Democrat Party are cosplaying. Dan!
No, they're showing you, it's not cosplaying. There are, have you seen, what's the guy's name? It's the guy from Reacher, I think on Amazon or whatever. Like the guy that looks like Chris Pratt and he talks like Chris Pratt, except he's like at least 4 inches taller and much more muscular. Like he was basically just freaking out. We should play that one on Wednesday's show. We should play that video because he was absolutely pissed off about the fact about Donald Trump protecting, you know, pedos or whatever. I mean, he seems like somebody from the left side of the aisle. You're going to tell him that he's not manly enough for you? There are plenty of guys in the Democratic Party who would absolutely kick both of our asses. So, of course, people on the left might try and find alternative means to work out their differences other than an ass whooping.
They're cosplaying. Like they know
Yeah, Steve, Alan Richardson. Right, exactly. Thank you.
what masculine energy is. Did you miss that? I think you missed it, man. Let's keep it going.
As Donnie Boy says,
It is what it is.
here we go. Let's continue. More of Nick.
Oh,
Look.
yeah.
And see, I was nice because I didn't say more on Nick. I just said more of Nick, because typically in that situation, I would say more on Nick, because more on, right?
It's just corn. It's complete cheese, man. Cheese cornball stuff. And they're
Take a drink. I'd probably die of alcohol poisoning.
You probably would in this video.
Be dead of alcohol poisoning already.
You probably would get alcohol poisoning if you did that.
Let's continue.
Again.
Just something about the laugh too just makes me like, how can you claim that somebody else is condescending when you laugh at people like that? I don't get it.
Poindexter's own manliness credentials are in full order.
Let's fast forward here a little bit. Includes blue collar workers, etc. And if that means we have to put on some, we're manly men, like, we're men in tights. We rob from the rich and give to the poor. That's right. But
Let's go man.
Does Nick not know the movie? I'm very disappointed in Nick if he doesn't know a Mel Brooks movie. That's just sad and pathetic. Maybe he was just saying it was nice because he knew it, but he should have joined in. Corporatists who support the CEOs of the companies that they work for.
I don't know if he's maybe not understanding this. In 2026, blue-collar voters tend to lean more Republican. That's fact.
Well, I know in 2020, in past years, I mean, ever since Trump was elected the first time, blue-collar workers for some reason were voting for Trump because they believed the lines of bullshit that he fed them, and then they found out it was bullshit and got angry. Because, he brought the manufacturing jobs, like the steel jobs, back to America, and then only the CEOs of the companies were getting the benefit of it, and the union workers who, worked and toiled and sacrificed for these companies then didn't get anything back, and they were very confused as to why they weren't getting the help that they were wanting. So then they still continue to do so and vote against their best interest. And yeah, I do understand that there are a lot of blue-collar people who are voting right instead of left. I understand that completely, which is why I'm saying that they vote against their best interests, which is why I'm saying I don't understand it, because the Republican Party is the party for the CEO types. The Republican Party is the party for the corporatist types. The Republican Party is the party for the people who support big business against the workers. And the Democratic Party is the party that supports the working class. Now, there are people who are on the left who are going to say Democrats also support the corporations, and fair, there are some Democrats out there who are absolutely, especially some of the entrenched mainstream Democrats in the districts that are safe blue, where I feel they absolutely should be replacing those with people who are further to the left. But I understand the realities of politics. I'm just trying to say, if you're trying to... that's one of the reasons why the Democratic Party is trying to run with these types of ads, because they're trying to say, yes, we're actually for you. And again, Democrats absolutely need better wordsmiths, because it's not a great ad. That being said, the idea that there are no manly men in the Democratic Party is silly, and perhaps we're enabling the Republican Party to continue the false meme. But
I don't know what he's...
Gen X, you should debate him, Dan. Problem with debating Nick, and here's the thing. There is another video, I think, on Nick's channel that we could go over another day, is that a lot of the times, like, especially when we're doing it on his channel, like, he will just cut off conversation. Like, I'll be in the middle of making a point, and then he'll just cut it off and change the subject to something else. And the same thing kind of happened when it was, like, me versus the three, when it was me, Nick, and the other two guys. Because I said, oops, my bad. I did it again. So I would be making a point, and I would talk for something for about a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes or whatever, because it was a more complex point. And people in chat's always talking for too long because they can only handle 30 seconds of what somebody says. But then the other folks on the panel were speaking for 3, 4, 5 minutes on the same things and weren't getting cut off by Nick. So it was, while I felt I held my own well enough for people who were watching, you could still see how he was allowing them to talk more, but it was like, cut Dan off. So let's continue. I'm having an issue clicking the proper button.
Thinking right here, but let's keep it going. He drives a big old Ram pickup truck and built
Fast forward
with
a
his
little bit
buddy.
more, because we're not going to watch the Homelander and the boys was the good guy. So
all I'm hearing on here is like opinionated lies.
Is it not true that the conservative type folks believed that Homelander was the good guy at the beginning of The Boys, and they were shocked to find out that the person who was painted up as the Ubermensch, the ultra-patriotic symbol of American freedom in the comic book world known as The Boys, that he actually turned out to be the, Hitler type of person? I mean, I guess I can understand why a conservative might not understand that somebody who is acting like Hitler is acting like Hitler, because they voted for the guy 3 times who, in real life, acts like Hitler. Like pre-1940s Hitler, like not Third Reich growing Hitler at this point.
To generalize an entire population and say, if someone voted conservative, I'll play devil's advocate with him a minute, then they all think Homelander's the good guy. You know what?
That's not what I said. I said that these are the type of people do. I didn't say every single one thought that. I mean, he is a comic book nerd type person. Like, he would know better. Nick would know better. But lots of other people didn't. And that's the point I'm making. Again, this is the type of logic in quotes. I'm sorry, was that condescending too? It's the kind of logic that makes people, say, oh, not all men. When people criticize men, men do this, but not all men do it. I'm a man and I don't do that. Well, good, fine. A bunch of men do it though. And the exception proves the rule. And when we're making generalized comments about people and you don't fit the generalization, guess what? We are not talking about you. Let's continue.
Dan, that is the stupidest thing that you've said on here so far. You're not stupid, but that's the stupidest thing that you've said on here so far. Anybody who watches The
But you took it out of context.
Boys doesn't think Homelander's a good guy, man.
No, there are plenty of people. We could go find plenty of people who were shocked and appalled that Homelander, the patriotic dude, was the bad guy.
That's so ridiculous, man. Shed in his...
You might find it ridiculous because you understand what the comic books are doing, but not everybody is as nerdly adept as we are.
Backyard. He built a shed in his backyard.
Yet built a shed in the backyard.
Now Poindexter is running for Congress, trying to flip a Republican. Everybody, we are toxic.
Is toxic, or that all men are toxic. We have fact evil.
And
again, let's wipe back a little bit, because I was basically making the same point that I just made earlier. All masculinity is toxic, or that all men are toxic. We have fact evil.
Dan, do you not remember? Believe all women at all things, like women don't.
Again, that's not what was said. Believe all women on all things. It was, again, political it was shorthand, because it was a movement that started on Twitter with the Me Too movement, and hashtag Me Too, hashtag believe women. Many times it was just hashtag believe victims. Nobody's saying that nobody lies. But the problem is that when you have cases of like sexual assault, sexual battery, sexual abuse, and grape, as you have to say on TikTok, when you have cases like that, guess what? People automatically assume that they're lying. And then when somebody else jumps in and is shown to be lying, then they take it upon themselves to believe even less about the women who are coming forward, or any victims who are coming forward and talking about the sexual crimes that have been committed against them. So, again, it's not, people too often confuse political shorthand. Like the whole when people say Black Lives Matter, it's like, well, don't white lives matter too? Shouldn't all lives matter? Well, that's not the point that we're making when we say black. We're not saying only Black Lives Matter. We're saying that Black Lives Matter, and there's an implied should. Black lives should matter, but to many people in policing and to many people who, you know, are racist, they don't. Many people who support white supremacy, even if they don't realize they're supporting white supremacy, those are the people that need to be probably educated the most as to what they're doing and how what they're doing is harmful to folks who are minorities, marginalized and oppressed people. And sometimes it's easier to use political shorthand, especially when people don't understand complex and gets bored by complex arguments. But here's the thing. Here's the problem with like the people like this. They don't want you to speak for, 5 minutes on a subject. But if you use political shorthand, they can't handle the intricacies of that. They can't handle the problem. They just don't get it. Let's continue.
Lie? You don't remember that? You don't remember that entire time frame where women could just say anything about any guy and it would ruin their entire life?
No. I remember that some guys had their lives ruined because we enabled people to come forward and speak out, and the lives were ruined because of their own actions. That's the thing. Their lives were ruined because of their own actions. Now, were there some cases where the stories were told and then the stories fell apart? Yeah. Duke rape case? Absolutely. Story fell apart. Hofstra, there was a case. Story fell apart, or the story of the person who accused a couple men of doing nefarious things to her and violating her consent. Turns out she enjoyed the hell out of it, and there was video evidence of it. So it was showed that she was lying. But that only helps to perpetuate things like rape culture, because then it just makes society more and more believe that people are just a bunch of liars, when in reality, most people don't lie and falsely accuse people of crimes. When people come forward and say, I was a victim of a crime, they typically are truthful about it. But so many people are shamed into not even coming forward and are afraid to come forward. That's why we needed a Me Too movement. That's why we needed the movement of believe the victims. But maybe that's a little bit over your head.
Even if it had no merit and no basis? Did you forget that? Did you forget the whole entire Me Too thing?
Clearly not.
Now, of course, there was women that absolutely needed, and they were absolutely victims. But you don't remember? Believe?
Well, we needed to get the word out there that that they will be supported so that they could come out. And just because you don't believe the person or that society didn't believe in doesn't mean that their story wasn't true. Ultimately, it should be up to a court to let it happen. But sometimes the police don't even let it get that way because they treat the women so terribly, especially women that come forward with sexual assault, sexual abuse, rape, cases. They just treat them so poorly, and they don't even test the rape kit sometimes. But, hey, I remember that too.
All women?
Do you remember hundreds and hundreds or thousands of rape kits not being tested? Do you remember that? Because that happened.
At all costs? You don't think that...
Let's fast
forward. If you have a daughter and she's playing sports, you don't think that these policies have changed the way that straight men vote? Bro, of course it has.
Well, trans and sexual orientation and trans are two different things. Like, if you're a man and you're attracted to a woman, regardless of whether she's cis or trans, you're still straight, unless you're also attracted to people of other genders. But no, I have a whole other video on why the whole thing is a mountain of a molehill. Much ado about nothing. Go check out my Fat Man rant on that particular issue. I'm not going to delve into it because I already have a video on it.
Yes. Like, what is he talking about? Let's keep it going.
Even show examples of men who are not toxic, like Mr. Rogers, like LeVar Burton, plenty of... Wait, Breezy Pivot says false. False about what? Other folks who are out there. Bob Ross.
What? Bob
Many
Ross.
Examples. Yes, Bob Ross is an example of a man who does not exude toxic masculinity because he embraces his art and he does it in a nice, pleasant way. He's like, well, what happens if I'm colorblind? Like, one of the things I think of is, he says, well, somebody like, I can't paint because I'm colorblind. And so Bob Ross did a whole painting in grayscale just to show that you don't need to have a whole bunch of colors to make something pretty. You can make a pretty black and white painting, and being colorblind doesn't affect your ability to put something that you love on canvas. And that's masculine. That's him being a man that's not a toxic man. Terry Crews, lots of guys who are out there who are non-toxic, who exude masculinity but are still not toxic in doing so.
Or said Bob Ross.
There is plenty of, I did say Bob Ross, forms of masculinity that, yes, Bob Ross the painter, are toxic, and we do criticize that. But people who are incapable of forming complex thoughts just hear toxic masculinity and start freaking out. Now look.
There he goes again, guys.
There I go again.
Also, drink every time Dan acts like he's condescending. How about that?
I think if we compare the amount of times that I'm condescending and compare to the times that he's condescending with his laughs or his whatever and the ha ha ha, the what? Like, I'll let y'all in the chat decide who's been more condescending so far this video. Myself or my boy Nick?
Man. Then we'll all...
Again.
Die alcohol poison. The whole point of this video that I made the other day was the idea that the Democrat Party is out of touch with the current...
You're out of touch. I'm out of time. Wait. I guess I can't skip far ahead because
that's what that entire video was about. Let's get it.
I'll admit, I used to be like that too.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. I used to be like in a particular way. I used to do a particular thing, and then I changed. So, of course, I gotta be funny, gotta make a joke, but I can't make jokes, right? Because his laugh track sounds like Tucker Carlson. It could be, I don't know. I don't know which particular laugh track he's using, but it's annoying as all get out. I would take my gut reaction. Breezy pivots. If a man is attracted to a man, he is not straight. Your identity doesn't change your gender. No such thing as cis men and cis women, just male and female. No, there are male and female, but there are cis men and cis women and trans men and trans women. Cis and trans are scientific terms. And I'm just simply trying to educate you on this particular thing. If you are a trans woman, that means you are different from the gender that was assigned to you at birth incorrectly. But then we have a whole show on this too. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about this because there's another video on liberaldanradio.com that you can go check out about the oversimplification that many people have as it comes to sex and gender, and how we went to the Scientific American website and showed images and showed went through the statements of the scientists who basically explain why the idea of two sexes or two genders is overly simplistic and based off of old, like, 1970s thinking, and not based off of modern understandings of sex and gender. Because there's more than two combinations of XY. There's many more factors that come into play on human development, and to think that that only ends up with two genders is absurd. So, reaction to hearing something, and like I heard male fragility. And I have a whole video series based, again, we're going to skip this part because I do have a whole series on not unraveling toxic. I do have an unraveling toxic masculinity series, but I also have a video series on coming to terms with activism, and I do deal with toxic masculinity in one of the first two videos. And if you watch that video, you also probably see how much weight I've lost. But anyway, you can go check that out and see how I think people should act when they hear something that challenges their worldview, instead of just mad typing on their keyboard and pounding away because what you've heard just, is completely different than what your worldview says. Instead, you take a few minutes, you sit back, you think about it, you go maybe do a little research and understand why the people who are saying the things that you don't believe in are saying those things. It's one of the reasons why I understand a lot of, conservative talking points out there, because instead of just reacting to it, horrible garble, pounding away on my keyboard, I try and understand why conservatives believe the way that they do, to get a better understanding and to better engage with and speak with and talk to these conservatives to make better, more educated points. Now, whether or not they want to listen to it or hear it, that's a whole nother story. But you have to understand why the people think the way they do instead of just rejecting it out of hand. But we have covered this on another show too, about how taking the time to understand something that someone else says is definitely a more leftist, liberal, left-leaning type of thought, whereas it has been shown that conservatives will oftentimes just take that gut reaction and just run with it. So Breezy Points goes, scientists, the same ones that said the universe was created with a big bang. Well, the whole universe was the dark, dense shape. Anyway, if you know, you know. Just on this idea of, coming to terms with I see it because you... Let's fast forward a little more because I'm still talking about
that on this one.
Activism.
Male fragility is a feminist term, Dan, okay?
Okay, and I'm a feminist. So why wouldn't I now embrace the use of the term male fragility when I'm a feminist?
And it's not a psychological disorder. It's not a...
Nobody said it was. It could be rooted in some psychological disorders, but it is definitely something that, a lot of guys deal with, especially when they hear terms that they don't like and they start crying about it.
Legitimate physical disorder. It's basically a term used to dismiss men's feelings. So...
No, it doesn't dismiss men. There are a lot of times when people actually want to have, discussions about feelings, whatever, but it's a way to discuss how men lash out when they hear things that, if you're a guy and you're willing to take criticism and you're willing to learn and better yourself, you will hear such terms and be like, okay, let's listen, let's have a conversation about it. But if you're going to lash out and attack people for saying a term that because you don't understand what it means, yeah, that's fragile. That's fragile in and of itself.
Maybe do your homework on that one. I'm going to quit Xing this because he's wrong about so much stuff in this video, but let's keep...
What do y'all think, chat? Am I wrong about most things in the video? Have I made any incorrect statements according to y'all? I mean, I'm sure Breezy over on Twitch might think so. But, what do y'all think? How do y'all believe? We've only got about 8 minutes of him, and we'll probably skip forward a little bit more, but, let's go on.
Go on.
Coming to terms with activism playlist that I have here at liberaldanradio.com is that these people who are saying this thing that sounds counterintuitive to me, let's skip ahead the other people who lack empathy, who automatically jump. What was I wrong? I thought he said he was going to stop and think about things from other people's point of view, and then you have the other people who lack empathy, who automatically jump on something.
The progressive left ponders?
Yes.
Dan!
Christine says, no lies detected. Thank you. Damon Dog also says, no lies detected. Lots of people saying, no lies detected.
Dan! The progressive left takes their time and listens to people's feelings? What?
Yes, we do. We're more likely to understand the other side of the aisle than y'all are to understand us. Was it Adelaide Stevenson who once said, we'll stop telling the truth about the Republicans once the Republicans start lying about us? Stop lying about us?
What the hell are you talking about, bro?
Big Hook. He doth protest too much. Good night, Abe and Irx. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
Nah, that deserves an X. Dan, people on the progressive.
This week's hypocrite of the week is Nick, who said he would no longer X me, and now he X's me twice. Hey. Anyway, let's continue.
The left are driving their vehicle, burning down businesses. Yo, what are you talking about?
That was a conservative who burnt down the police station, at least in Minnesota. Let's continue.
Crazy work, Dan.
I think being manly means you're accountable for your actions and respect all people, and that you're a normal person.
Yeah, I think so.
Unfortunately,
whoever typed that in the chat, I think that's great. Or somehow Dan's will turn this into conservatives or anybody that's not a liberal. They just don't understand what being a manly man is. It's crazy.
Again, there's the laugh. There's a like that little laughing dog from the I forget which cartoon it was from, the wheezy kind of laughing dog.
Crazy work, man.
Someone in chat will remember the name of that one, right?
Crazy work, Dan.
Conservative types, especially like Donald Trump, accountability is something that's so foreign to them that they've already tried to deport it. Let's continue.
They told everybody there's a patriarchy.
Notice he didn't respond to that one.
That women.
There is a patriarchy.
Stand by what I said. I stand completely by what I said. I stand by what.
There is a patriarchy. There is.
I said.
Christine, I make toxic men cry. I want to watch. That's my kink. Watching people make toxic men cry. That's absolutely my kink.
Oh my.
Anyway, let's continue.
Women can vote. Women can own property. Women can run.
Oh boy, women can vote when they used to not be able to. That proves that there's no patriarchy. Oh, women can own property. That proves there's no patriarchy. Maybe the patriarchy is less. It doesn't mean it's non-existent.
Businesses. Men on the average have longer criminal sentences than women have. Most workplace.
Because of the patriarchy. Because the society believes. I'm sorry, am I being too sarcastic with the smile? Maybe I need to say it more seriously. Society believes that women are the weaker sex, therefore can't have as long sentences, which, so if men are getting longer sentences, it's because we feel that the men, can handle it or whatever. The women can't handle such long sentences as such. And why do they feel that way? Because of patriarchal beliefs. That's why that happens. There are many things that would all the people that are like men's. I'm not saying that Nick's a men's rights activist or a red pill or whatever, but I'm saying the people who are like that, their lives would be much better if feminism actually was able to accomplish all of its goals, because you would eliminate gender stereotypes, you would eliminate antiquated gender roles, and you would treat people equally in all aspects of life, or at least with equity in all aspects of life.
Debts are men. Men hold more dangerous jobs than.
Well, I mean, women couldn't have their own credit cards, till the 70s? So there are a lot of people who might have had debts that, men have carried debts longer than women because women weren't allowed to have the debts by themselves. They weren't allowed to open up the accounts by themselves, or married women at least. So again, patriarchal bullshit is why that happens.
Women have a tendency to be in safer fields. Male victims.
Because of the patriarchy, because men for eons have told women these are not things that women do. And as such, they've been steered away from those fields, even when they wanted to participate in those fields. Again, because patriarchal standards say men do these things, women do these things. So if you want to complain that women aren't involved in the more dangerous jobs, complain about the patriarchy, because that's what's created it.
Victims are normally taken less serious than female victims.
Again, because manly men don't complain according to the patriarchal rules that we have set up. According to toxic masculinity, men don't speak up and talk about being victims of crimes, especially crimes like that. So that's why, again, the patriarchy causes that. The patriarchy pushes for the differences in genders that are antiquated and shouldn't exist. You should judge people based on their individual capabilities. If somebody is individually capable of doing a task, they should be able to do that task. Simple as that.
I could make arguments all day long about why we are not a patriarchal society.
Bogo's Binted says, if you have to go back half a century to make your point, you don't have anything. No, I go back well, I guess it is a half a century, because God damn it, I'm a half a century old. Oi. Why'd you have to remind me how old I am, Bogos? But anyway, yeah, sometimes you have to go back to, the 70s, because men could do things for a very long time and women could only do those things for a much shorter time. That shows you where the patriarchy is. Now, are we less patriarchal today than we were 50 years ago? Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that you've eliminated the patriarchy. It's still there. It's still harming women, and it's still harming men. It harms everybody. But some people, unfortunately, just don't want to see it. But just because you don't want to see it doesn't make it not true.
Men have to apply for the selective service. Women don't have to apply for a selective service.
Because of the patriarchy. If you didn't have patriarchal BS that took place, guess what? You would have everybody signing up for selective service, or nobody signing up for selective service. I just have to laugh at that. 5 Eggs goes, I need a free membership. Let's see if I get one. And he didn't get one, but his wife did. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Hopefully, when it comes next week, when I can give up more free memberships, let's see if you get one next week. I really hope you do, 5 Eggs. But Christine, Gen X George, Dean Baker, and that's like 4 people who are regulars here on Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left. That's right. But I do appreciate that you gifted 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much, 5 Eggs. I appreciate you greatly for that. Let's continue.
Men, on the average, are at a higher rate to be homeless than women.
Because of patriarchy.
Now, if he wants to make an argument, which he's going to make an argument about women in government, first off, just because there is more men.
Yes, I do make an argument about women in government because through the entirety of this country, we've only had, what, 4? We only have 3 current Supreme Court, 4 current Supreme Court justices who are women, which is under half when women are over half of the population. But look at the amount of men who have served on the Supreme Court versus the amount of women who have served on the Supreme Court, and you'll see that there's a patriarchal thing there. How many women are in the Senate? Right?
In government, that doesn't mean that every man is holding that position, okay? That means there's a select few people hold that actual office.
Yeah, and those select few people, like with the senators and with the Supreme Court, tend to be dudes.
So to pretend, all this stuff is I think he's reaching a little bit. Let's get it.
I'm not pretending. I understand that you have problems understanding the fact that there's a patriarchy. Christine, if we're not in a patriarchal society, name the female presidents. Can't, because none exist. Right? But that's probably not a valid argument to be made, according to some people, right? Breezy, it's like a woman bringing up something years ago in a current day argument to make a point. Well, I mean, I've known guys to do that too. That being said, if you do something that's related, let's say you cheated like 10 years ago and you did something and then like 10 years later, she catches you flirting with somebody else. Is it okay to bring up from 10 years ago that you cheated when now she's catching you flirting with somebody else and potentially getting somebody's phone number or something? Find somebody's random phone number, in your pants when, the laundry was getting done. Right? Sometimes it's relevant to bring up stuff from the past. Sometimes it isn't. But ignoring the past is also to our detriment. Patriarchy, but there is a patriarchy.
Guys, just take a shot when Dan acts condescending and like.
All right, and take a shot when Nick does it too. I think you get more shots for Nick than you would for me. We only got 4 minutes of this video going on, so let's see, Phil Stone, it's not that long ago since women were even allowed into combat roles. Exactly. Hey, Brenda, thank you very much also for the becoming a liberal Danimal. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Appreciate you.
Smartest person in the room.
Again, he attacks me for being condescending and then plays that dumbass laugh. I'll let y'all decide which one's more condescending.
Oh, man, let's keep it going.
Gen X George, I think Nancy Reagan was president during Ronald Reagan's last couple of years. Well, how many women are in the Senate? How many women have ever been president? Again, just because it's a select group doesn't mean that there's not a patriarchal idea, right? I understand that you have problems understanding the fact that there's a patriarchy, but there is a patriarchy. I mean, you keep arguing against it. There's a patriarchy when I keep giving you reasons as to why there is a patriarchy and what it actually means, and you keep rejecting it. So, I mean, I would take you much more seriously on your calls of being condescending if you didn't have that laugh to play every time. Because to me, that's more. But let's continue.
America did historically have patriarchal laws, I won't argue that. Say that American society in 2026 is patriarchal, completely ignores the rights that women have now, and
we gave y'all rights, so be happy with what you have and don't fight for any more. I mean, we've literally just eliminated body autonomy from women. As you would say, at least. We've eliminated body autonomy when it comes to abortion. Because trans men can abort, non-binary people who are pregnant can abort, etc. But we just moved this country back a half a century by eliminating Roe v. Wade with one of the dumbest Supreme Court justices writing, or the dumbest Supreme Court justice, writing one of the dumbest Supreme Court rulings ever. Or opinions, I should say. Ever. Because it was so bad. And you've now moved to prevent women from even saving their own lives. And I know somebody's going to say, well, the laws say you can, but they don't. If Kate Cox could have saved her own life because her life was definitely in danger with, you know, her amniotic fluid leaking out into her, risking sepsis, but they couldn't do anything because they saw a heartbeat. Oh, wait, was that too condescending too? If we really, you know, didn't live in a patriarchy, Kate Cox could have went and gone and taken care of the condition that she was in because she wanted a kid. Her husband wanted a kid. They both wanted to raise this child, but there was a problem with the pregnancy. There was a risk to her life, and the state was saying, nope, you can't do it. Sorry, we know better than you. We know better than your doctor what needs to be done to protect you. And the idea that she had to wait till, like, impending death is to, like, you know that scene from Austin Powers? That scene when the guy is standing in the middle of the skating rink, the ice rink, the hockey rink or whatever, and Austin Powers is riding the Zamboni. I think it was one of Dr. Evil's henchmen or whatever. And Austin Powers is like waving the guy like, move, 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 and it's moving so slowly. And you know that all you have to do is get out the way. And you won't get run over. But the guy doesn't get out of the way and is run over. Well, that's how Texas is applying this law. You are seeing, you know, the Zamboni coming at you slowly because of the condition that you're in. And the doctor says, we need to help you. We need to terminate what's left of this pregnancy in order to save your life. And Texas is like, nope, you have to wait till the Zamboni is like right about to hit you before you can move out the way. Or it has to be in the middle of running you over before you can get out of the way, which is dumb. But having laws like that is patriarchal. I guess you don't want to see it.
A lot of the, disadvantages that men actually experience on a day-to-day basis. So that would be my pushback to him on that. Let's keep it going.
Before we keep it going, Breezy Pivots is only a woman, I'm sorry, I misquoted you. Only a woman can go and make millions by posting nudes online. Could a man do that? I am sure that there are some men that can do that. But yes, there are probably many men who could do that, but you're thinking of the wrong type of porn. There are men who work in porn with, like, man versus man. I've seen, like, shows like on HBO about, like, real sex or whatever, and, like, the gay for pay. Like, I think those guys actually do make a bunch of money. At least they used to. But when the demand is a certain amount from the porn market, guess what? The capitalism is going to fulfill the demand in a certain way. And supply and demand. How many women do you know? Because we live in a society that treats, women who are... We have a whole bunch of MGTOW red pill type folks who think that, women sleeping with 5 people makes them a slut, but men sleeping with 20 people makes them a stud. How many men do you know would be like, oh, I'd love to make some money or doing some content, and I'll get to have sex with a woman and there's no commitment involved, it's just for fun? Absolutely. How many women would want to do that based on how society judges women, who are open with their sexuality? Again, if the supply of women who are doing porn that caters to heterosexual men So if the supply of women is low and the supply of men who would want to participate in such porn is high, then guess what? You're going to have higher pay for the women participating in it, and you're going to have little or no pay for the men participating in it. What was the woman? What's her name? Bonnie Blue? Bonnie Blue is one who, like, you know, makes a bunch of money with her videos that she makes, and some of them are a little bit disturbing from what I hear. I don't watch Bonnie Blue porn, but she made big news because she had one video where she was basically doing a bunch of, like, freshman-aged boys on spring break. And she specifically went there targeting young 18-year-old boys. And to their credit, to the credit of the feminists that are out there who want to say that the older men who go after the 18-year-old women are toxic, because if they're setting their minimum at 18, that means the only reason they're met at 18 is because less than 18 is illegal. If it was 16, those men would probably go down to 16. Right? But to the feminists' credit, they were critical of her for doing that, just as they're critical of men who target young girls, young 18-year-old young women. So, but go the other way, I'm sure the guys would be like, you know, not give a crap either way. So, let's continue. How many women have ever served on the Supreme Court? Yeah, again, I don't know why saying that is wrong, because I'm comparing the number of women who have served on the Supreme Court to the men who have served on the Supreme Court, and the number of men who have served on the Supreme Court dwarfs the number of women who have served on the Supreme Court. Simple concept, not too hard to grasp.
Well, if you look at it like that, how many women have to sign up for the selective service, Dan? How many women have to go work in a coal mine, Dan?
Again, have to. I mean, we shouldn't have anybody working in coal mines because we should move away from coal. That's a whole nother different issue. But again, women who said, hey, I want to go work in a coal mine, were told, that's not a women's job, so go work somewhere else. And we have this thing that women have certain roles and men have certain roles. And why is that caused? Because of the patriarchy.
I mean, you can't just cherry pick the things that you want to try to make your argument.
But you can, right? You are cherry picking the things. You're looking at all the advancements that we've made in society and said, see, all those advancements means we're not a patriarchy. When I point out the things that show that we're still one, oh, that's a limited group. Oh, there's a reason why that's irrelevant. Oh, we do have 4 members on the Supreme Court that are women now, so that means we must disprove that we're a patriarchy. Like, come on, can you get any more hypocritical than that? Can you be any more hypocritical? Population. How many things are built around men, and how many, especially now when you have Hegseth not wanting to give women the promotions.
So guys, according to the check.
So ChatGPT says, well, I could probably type in a prompt just as good that proves my point too. So, what actually Hegseth previously said that women should not serve in combat roles, though he later softened that position. When did he soften that position? Let me type that into ChatGPT right now, live as we speak. When did Pete Hegseth soften his stance on women serving in combat roles? It happened during the period between his nomination for Secretary of Defense and the Senate confirmation hearing. Shocked, I say. So there's a reason why he softened his stance, is because he wanted to get confirmed. Before his nomination, especially in November 2024, Hegseth repeatedly argued that women should not serve in ground combat roles. On the Sean Ryan Show, released in November 2024, he said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective. It hasn't made us more lethal. Has made fighting more complicated. And saying, let's see, he left a small opening. Oh, my. saying that if standards truly remained identical for men and women, then he would theoretically accept women who's met those standards, but he argued that would never happen. So again, sexist. December 2024, he met with Republican senators who votes he's needed, including Joni Ernst. His rhetoric began to soften because he was trying to get the job. So that's why his positions softened. And he hasn't explained the reason why he removed several female and black officers from military promotion lists. But, you know, are we to believe that its gender had nothing to do with it when he said those words in the past? He can't say on. And again, I cannot find Pete saying women can't get promotions in the military. Did I say women? Let's go back to see what I said specifically to see if he's quoting me right. Especially now when you have Hegseth not wanting to give women, again, I said not wanting to give women promotion doesn't mean they can't get it. It's just saying that he doesn't want to give them. Two different things, different words. Talk about taking people out of context. The promotions.
So guys,
let's see. Would it be correct, or does the evidence show that Pete Hegseth is reluctant to promote women in the military? Based on publicly available evidence, there is credible evidence that has led many current and former military officials to conclude that Pete Hegseth has been reluctant to advance some women into senior leadership positions. There is no public evidence that he has announced a general policy of that. So again, see how that works? There's evidence that something is more likely. And, you know, there's what you said, which was a more definitive statement that I never said. So go on with your bad self, Nick.
According to the check here, Pete Hegseth has never said women, although he has later.
It's easy to build a straw man argument, you know, when, you know, you completely ignored the actual words that I used.
It's very easily explainable. And what that basically means is the Trump administration has pretty much been like DEI has been a disaster. But
they don't understand what the word DEI means, and that you're just assuming that these denials of promotions are somehow valid and based in, you know, that, oh, these people should have never been promoted in the first place because of their abilities, and instead, you know, and not instead of, oh, we're just a white supremacist and male supremacist administration who are only wanting to promote white men.
From their standpoint, I'm not saying mine.
And I said only wanting to because they probably realize they have to do some, but it's going to be much less than before.
Okay. I'm not saying mine. Misleading, Dan. Very We'll get hung up on this too much, but
I'm misleading because he misused my words. How does that work?
He would also push back on you and say it is merit-based. So where he is saying it is based on merit. So that.
But he doesn't believe that women have merit in the first place in military roles. If you look at his past statements, you know, when he quoted the line from, or paraphrased the line from Pulp Fiction, which I don't necessarily know he knew what he was doing or not. When he did that, I think that same speech, he was talking about like standards for what people should have to do. And we talked about it. We said, look, you know, the standards for somebody to go into combat should be the same for everybody, and they should be enough to make sure that the person can do the job that they're being asked to do. That doesn't mean that the current standards are too high or too low, but, you know, we have to look at the standards to see if they're actually standards or not. But some people might say, well, we're going to make the standards higher to make it less likely that women are going to be able to serve in combat roles, just to be able to get rid of the women in the combat roles. And when in reality, those standards are set too high and are needlessly high, and you could set them lower and still have an effective, lethal combat force. Not much left of the video.
Position of government when it comes to being voted in or holding a chair or something like that. Normally, most people, and despite whoever is president, whether it's Biden, Trump, you know, whoever, it's going to be made up of people from that political party. And to be completely honest with you, a lot of times, whether it's Democrat or Republican, it's going to be a hive mind of people around them that serve out what the president wants. Let's keep it going.
I guess if you look up here at this YouTube video link, it does say Man Enough is a Harris campaign on women's issues. You know, we shouldn't necessarily be listening to cis men about women's issues, because
I'm going to stop you right there. We shouldn't listen to men on women's issues. I'm not a cis man.
Oh no, not a cis man. I'm afraid I don't like there's the real problem that conservative or libertarian type folks, there's the problem that you have with cis because it sounds too much like sissy, even though it's spelled differently. Like, is that the problem that you have with cis? Would you rather me to say that you're not trans, you're not a trans man, and just ignore the cis altogether? I mean, there's scientific terms. We understand a lot of the people on the right don't like science. You reject it. You don't want to hear about it. So when people use the scientific term, you're like, eek, like a mouse, scaring you. So let's continue.
I'm a full-grown man, boy.
The constant use of that laugh might tell me otherwise.
Real man, boy. I eat carburetors for breakfast, Dan. Cis man. You know, that's what I'm talking about, guys.
Again, if we took the time to explain, like, that's a scientific term, and it just means it's just the opposite of trans. You take the time to explain that, and then you just have to sit down and talk with those, like, blue-collar folks who might, you know, initially have a gut reaction of, you know, why should I care about trans issues? And then, you know, maybe read in the First They Came For poem. Or maybe have us sit down and have a meaningful conversation with them about how do trans women existing affect your life. Talk about who's to blame for much of the, you know, attacks that might take place in a restroom. In reality, if you force trans women to go into the men's room because they were assigned male at birth, those trans women are much more likely to get assaulted. And if you force trans men to go use the women's room because those, you know, because they were assigned female at birth, but they're now trans men, and they look like men, full beards and everything, you're just going to give the pervert cis men the ability to say, well, I'm really a trans man, but y'all said I'd belong in here, so I'm going to go in here, and then they're going to go look at, you know, anyway. Or they'll vice versa. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I didn't think that one out. Anyway, we can always edit that one out. I don't know. I've got a little screwed up at the end. Again, I'm not perfect. Nobody is. So, fan saying, the adult on this video doesn't want actual conversations. I don't know if I could have said it better myself. So anyway, man, I don't even know if I want to post this hour and 21-minute video. Maybe I'll have to post it in parts, because it should be more digestible. Or maybe I'm just going to need to go through it and make it, you know, maybe just cut it down into like a 20-minute segment instead of an hour and 20-minute segment, just to see, you know, what might work and what doesn't. So we'll see about that. We'll work on it a little bit. Maybe tomorrow we'll work on it. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to watch this. Again, we always do this thing when we do videos live. But thank you for watching this. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and of course, have a good day. Anyway, so that's that. And I hit the right button again, so yay me. Let's go ahead and shut that down so we can see more stuff. Orb Boomer, I can't spell, but I can chat. Thanks. Let's see. Some people worry way too much about other people's plumbing. Yeah, pretty much. And it's always the conservatives that are obsessed with it, right? They're always obsessed with what's in people's underwear, but yet we're supposed to be concerned about cis people. It's funny. And not funny, haha. DB Golding, 250 kilograms, same thing. It refers to a comedian being asked to leave the stage after a joke or act, same thing. As the big hook coming out. Let's see. Anyway. Oh, God, Breezy. Women aren't physically or mentally capable of being in combat. Yeah, fuck that. There are plenty of women. Gen X George, love you, Dan. Always on your side. Appreciate you, Gen X George. I feel the same way. But yeah, we have, oh, we just went from 69, nice, to 67 current viewers. Had to do it. Sorry. So, Gen X Origin, who the fuck thinks dirty public restrooms are sexy? Gross. Exactly. I don't know what you meant. I speak Taiwanese. But what should happen with the, wait, Abitur wants to show my junk? Okay. That deserves, oh my. DB Golding, how many black women have been on SCOTUS? 1. T-Ray 50 kilo. Yeah. She got the mine, I got the shaft. Reminds me of the Weird Al song. First she took the nest egg, then she took the nest. I said, yeah, I want you. Alimony, alimony, alimony. Come on, come on, come on. Alimony. Yeah. 250 kilo ohm. When we went from 69 to 67, at least 2 got off. Oh my. Very good joke. I appreciate your humor there. Anyway, so I'm going to see how I want to turn this into what, if I want to just post that whole big thing in once, or if I want to split it up into 3s or 4s or 5s and make it more digestible. We will see. Anyway, but it's 10:30. I probably have to get up a little early in for work in the morning, and a couple other things I need to do before bed. So I don't know why I'm looking up here. I need to look down here. That's one of the things that I'm still not used to about my laptop, is that I'm used to looking at the camera up here, and now I need to look at the camera down here because this is a better camera, shockingly enough, on the laptop. It gives me a much better, more clear picture. So, anywho. But I did want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and watching Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left. That's right. I also still need to work on my newest song. I don't know about video at this point because I'm not very happy with Opus Clip or Agent Opus. The Agent Opus part of Opus Clip I'm not very happy with because they bait and switched a couple of times and I'm not very thrilled about it. So I might need to find a new platform to be able to make new videos for the music videos. But until then, we'll at least make the songs, right? Anyway, Orb Rumor says, thanks to Dan and Mods for chat. Tolerate my babbling. See y'all real soon. Thank you for... See you real soon. Anyway, it's my Mickey voice. So anyway, thank y'all very much. Have a great one. We will be back here Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central for more Liberal Dan Radio Talk from the Left. That's right. And then Liberal Dan After Dark immediately afterwards. So thank y'all very much. Have a great one. We will listen to a few songs on the way out. Peace.
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan. Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writings on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause you know we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation contained. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause you know this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish-based laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used a literal dog whistle to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler. You ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like scolary, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, 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 and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten, hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, an administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Of documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Encampments downtown, tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't beat. Hide them away so the cameras can't find the proof of a system that's cold and unkind. Of chaos in secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done done it. I don't flip, had Biden done it. Phone numbers would slip, had Biden done it. They shout no way, but Trump did it, so it must be okay.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.
Gather round everyone and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, to say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect, but they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap. Gilead's gonna jet. See you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still, just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just state-owned pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, mega fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Stacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Spring is here, suffering is here. Life is Skittles and life is beer. I think the loveliest time of the year is the spring. I do, don't you? Of course you do. But there's one thing that makes spring complete for me. It makes every Sunday a treat for me. All the world sings in tune on a spring afternoon when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. Every Sunday you'll see my sweetheart and me as we poison the pigeons in the park. When they see us coming, the birdies all try and hide, but they still go for peanuts when coated with cyanide. The sun's shining bright, everything seems alright when we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We've gained notoriety and caused much anxiety in the Audubon Society. With our games, they call it impiety and lack of propriety, and quite a variety of unpleasant names. But it's not against any religion to want to dispose of a pigeon. So if Sunday you're free, why don't you come with me and we'll poison the pigeons in the park? And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we're poisoning pigeons in the park. And maybe we'll do in a squirrel or two while we're poisoning pigeons in the park. We'll murder them all amid laughter at merriment, except for the few we take home to experiment. My pulse will be quickening with each drop of strychnine. Me feed to a pigeon, it just takes a smidgen to poison a pigeon in the park.